All right, guys, how's it going? Hopefully, you guys are joining us on the YouTube side. If not, then you will probably be joining us on the Twitter side. Of course, you will see that I have here Dylan and at Blake Murphy 7. So today we're going to be doing a reaction on Marcus Whitman's video. That franchise guy, as you guys know him, he does like, in my opinion, he does some really good in-depth analysis. He does a lot of not so much as breakdowns, but grades on players. He has his own grading scale. You'll see it. He'll have it like in somewhere like when the it's from like the 0 to the hundreds, and then he'll have it like color coded as well. And that's pretty. That's kind of gives you like a sense for people who are gamers out there and do a lot of like those type of games that are MMOs and whatnot, where you see the color scheme and whatnot. The higher the grade, the different the color is. Well, this is kind of the way it's set up over here with the coloration. It is a 2 hour and I believe it's a 50-minute video, but we're not going to be going through the entire thing because it is quite a lot. And obviously, we're going to be giving our reactions. We're going to be going through it. And the reason why I wanted to do this in particular is because I wanted to give our thoughts about like to everybody about what we think about these videos, because obviously when we have somebody on the outside giving analysis to us and our Cardinals fans and giving us attention, we also we want to give our reaction and tell people like, hey, this is what we feel about this video and whatnot. So, and I mean, these videos are pretty interesting. But anyhow, introduction aside, I'm going to go ahead and ask our co-hosts over here, Dylan and Blake Murray, how are you guys doing? Go ahead, Dylan, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm ready to watch this. I'm ready to watch this and break it down. So let's get to it.
Yep,
All right,
happy to
what do
be here at least with you, Marcos and Dylan, and happy to go into some great content like you talked about. It's one of those areas where we get to, there's a lot of times you can react to Cardinals news, harder to be able sometimes to react to the reactions, and that's what we're kind of working on tonight.
Yeah, so interesting thing is like when I watch these videos, I oftentimes just like pause it myself and then like say it like a commenter or whatnot, and then I keep playing it and whatnot. So I get through these videos kind of slow when I first react to them, because there's times where I agree with what is being said, and there's times where I don't agree with what's being said, and so I just want to be able to like give those thoughts out to the community and whatnot. So, all right, guys. So we're gonna begin. Obviously, this video he has us. He has a particular ranking on us. So I believe he had us ranked somewhere in 29. Let me go ahead and double check for that because I don't have it in front of me. Okay, no, he has it. Actually, he has us ranked 31st. So he does this power ranking, this preseason power ranking. He goes from worst to first. It's nothing new, no new concept. I believe last year he had us ranked somewhere in the 20s, but he had a high upside on us for the most part. Or I think it was actually ranked 16 or something. So he was higher. He was higher on us because the way we ended up last season, of course, we had that late season collapse like we usually do as Cardinals fans. But the tools were there and the pieces were there, and the coaching staff was going into the third year together. The quarterback situation wasn't like we knew who the quarterback was going to be going into next year. We knew this was going to be a year or two of Marvin Harrison Jr.'s career, and he had an 800 yards in his rookie season. The defense was still kind of getting things together, kind of young and whatnot. We just drafted Walter Nolan, which had a high upside player, but we didn't know he was going to end up this great. So that's great to know that last year we were looking
You just cut out.
first, only one team ahead of us. So
He's
it is
back.
what it is, guys. What do you guys think about the ranking of him putting us 31st?
I
I
think
think it's a little
31st.
harsh.
It's a harsh, but it also makes some sense when you talk about the team was 1-11 with Jacoby last year. The defense hasn't improved as much as you'd like. I think maybe you could argue, is it really going to be like a team like the Browns that bad for that? I honestly understand the Dolphins ranking at 32nd. It's a harsh ranking, but when you look at what the team did last year without Kyler Murray and the feat that they're running it back, now granted, they do have some changes that are going on. I agree with Dylan that it feels like it's a little harsh, like you should be higher on the team, but I don't know if the win total is going to be that much higher than what he's projecting.
Yeah, I think it's a little harsh. I think we're getting taxed on the division. That's how I.
Mhm.
That's how I look at this offseason when I see people rank us. It's like when you're supposed to just rank the team, but you're taxing the Cardinals on the division they play in. Like I don't think the Jets have a better roster than us. I don't think obviously I don't think the Titans have a better roster. I don't think the Dolphins have a better roster. Maybe the Raiders, but that's where it really ends. We're in that bottom 5 for sure. So.
Yeah. It just shows how important quarterback is in some of these rankings. Yeah. And to be fair, that is one of the things we can talk about is Jacoby Brissett one of those guys who in a new scheme is going to be underrated, or is it a spot where we're going to be talking about when can Carson Beck start so we can see if he has anything before we get to 2027?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and mention 2 things about this. First, there's some interest. There's something that he brings up that's very interesting in this video that has to do with the scheme. And I literally just saw a video that apparently came out sometime after draft day where he had his thoughts about Carson Beck, and it was not pretty. It was he called it the worst pick in the draft, and I'm sorry, but I tend to agree that Carson Beck being taken in the 3rd round by the Cardinals, first pick, that was not a very good pick. But we will see how it goes. I mean, I'm not going to go ahead and applaud or get all do a victory lap if he fails. I don't want him to fail. I want him to do good. It's hard for me to see it. So, all right, guys, let's go ahead and dive into this video. Of course, once again, as I mentioned in the description, if you guys want to see the original video, it's right there. If you guys want to go ahead and give him a view, drop a like, even subscribe, I'm sure he would appreciate that. And same thing here. If you guys want to go ahead and drop and like and subscribe, if you guys are in the YouTube side, which I would really appreciate that. That'd be awesome. All right, guys, let's get this going.
To a building, a locker room, to meeting rooms. I get why they go with him to kind of, I don't want to say hold Mike LaFleur's hand, but as a guy that's been a head coach for, it wasn't very long. It was like 8 weeks in Denver. It was very poor. But he's been in charge of an offense. He's been a head coach. He's been around. So I have no problem with hiring Nate Hackett as long as he's not calling plays. So we didn't spend too much time on him, but between LaFleur and Rallis, there's you.
All right. So before we get started with all this is exactly what I'm talking about. If no one's seen his video before, he likes to obviously put his the coaching staff, the players, whatever he's talking about. He gives a little box, gives a little as much of like nuance as he possibly can, add to the boxes and whatnot. The connections, the years, as you can see, is very, very it's very I'm not sure what the word is, like detailed when it comes to like giving you a little bit of nuance on these players. And he's going to go over what he thinks about each player individually. And of course, you'll see at the bottom right the grades that I was talking about. We'll go over those in a second, but let us go ahead and hear him out and what he thinks about this coaching staff.
There's a ton of potential. There's reasons to be excited, but it's very much to be determined. And we certainly can't come into the year and rank these guys all that high until we see it work for this Cardinals team. And I think that's more than.
All right, guys. First thing, I agree with that 100%. You have no idea what you're going to get until you see these guys on the field. Now, I get that there's that perception of like, hey, this coaching staff is going to be better than last coaching staff, or like the recency bias of remembering how bad last coaching staff was. It happened as well with Cliff Kingsbury when he was fired, and we brought in this new coaching staff. And look at us 3 years later. And I had mentioned even then, like I have no idea what to expect with this coaching staff. I thought that I was gonna get a better defense or a better defensive scheme, and it actually made me miss Vance Joseph, which is something crazy for me to say since I spent my entire career basically trashing the guy every single year and trying to get him fired. So before anybody even gets anything going about this coaching staff, if somebody's telling you this is a better coaching staff, we have no clue until they take the field. Obviously, we know Nick Rallis. We know about him, but we're talking about the offense here. So I don't know. Do you guys want to give any thoughts on that, or should I continue the video?
Gotta keep it rolling.
Yeah. All right, let's do it.
Fair. Now, before we get into the roster here and start with the quarterback room, I want to thank the sponsor for today's deep dive, and that is.
Yeah, we won't be doing that part. So let me go ahead and.
No free sponsors around here.
It's one of the toughest things, I think, also about reacting to reactions. It makes a lot of whole sense, at least to most content creators who are going to be doing that. I know, at least for some of ours, we've got ad breaks, at least for some of the content that I do. It's how people are able to make a living and doing some of the stuff that they love. But we're not able to do that here on this show. So that's kind of one of those areas that I can understand you skipping.
Look, I get like.
That's why watch the official video is what we're recommending, at least.
Go watch the official video.
That way
exactly. Sign up with this code. Do that to support them. We're not sponsored by SeatGeek, so that's the only reason why we're skipping that. No disrespect towards Marcus here.
Yeah.
Which were large. They say goodbye to Kyler Murray, much expected there with kind of the burned bridge there. Fascinating point by our, in our interview today with Johnny, where he brings up like this was a really bad year to need a quarterback, especially if you were the Cardinals, where you were the one team that could not retain Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray was maybe the most desirable QB on the market this offseason. They part ways with him because of everything that was handled and mishandled behind the scenes with him, in my opinion. The idea of just cutting Kyler Murray and walking into this season where I really do not think the Cardinals are or were that far away. If Kyler Murray could get back healthy and be the best version of himself with a new coaching staff, they end up paying him to play for the Vikings this year when they have a complete mess in that quarterback room. Now I get it. They see a lack of upside long-term. They're playing for next year's quarterback draft class. Hopefully that all works out for them, of course, but it's just my opinion, man. Like the way that this was handled, paying Kyler Murray in his prime, still in my opinion, to go play for the Minnesota Vikings, I think this is going to be one of those things that we look back on. It's like, how did they screw that one up? So
this is one of the only major disagreements that I'll have with them when it comes to like, and he is a Kyler Murray fan. He does have like I believe he has some sort of I'm not sure what he sells some like I think Kyler Murray t-shirts and whatnot. So he is a big like Kyler Murray fan and whatnot. So
I would say I probably am too to some degree. Like I'm not saying that I don't think you have to be a Kyler Murray hater or a Kyler Murray fan. I don't think that's there in the extreme. I think that's part of why we get to have some of these conversations.
Yeah, well, absolutely. But
I think the only thing that if Kyler goes to Minnesota and does really good and like wins some playoff games, I think the only thing that would prove would be the dysfunction that the organization truly is, not that it wasn't time for Kyler Murray to go. Like, it would more.
A good stat that you can look at is out of the last 10 seasons that they've played, I believe it's 9 of the last 10 seasons, the Cardinals have missed the playoffs. 7 of those seasons, Kyler Murray started at least the majority of the games, or at least I would say, I think it was at least 6 games for the Cardinals in 7 of those seasons. So you're talking about you only made the playoffs once with Kyler. You built up a lot around him. You just couldn't sustain a lot of it. And so if you're saying that's organizational failure that the Vikings go on this deep run, I think that's fine to be able to say that, yeah, the organization had some issues. But at the same point, there's a lot of other teams like the Chargers don't miss the playoffs very much with the Justin Herbert. The Chiefs don't miss the playoffs that much with Mahomes. Like there's elite quarterbacks can kind of pull you into the playoffs a lot of different ways. And we just had seen a lot where it seemed like the Kyler experiment at the end of 2024. Once we kind of got started into 2025, I think we were like, all right, you won the first 2 games barely. You played the Niners, you played the Seahawks. You got to split those 2 games, and then you got to beat the Titans. It's all you got to do to keep afloat. And they lost all 3 of those games. And so at that point, I think the Cardinals looked at that and said, we're content to pull the plug in Kyler Murray, see what we have at least with Jacoby Brissett and the rest of this offense. And it's kind of like they should have probably looked at trading him in after 2024 ended without playoffs, because they were at, I think, 6-3 and were in first place in the division at one point. And he just hadn't lived up to what I think the expectations were for him, which was just put the team into being a playoff contender with the talent that you have. And a lot of things, I think, then afterwards, bottom fell out of the rest of the team for the rest of the way for the Cardinals in 2025.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the Vikings fans are also operating under the whole like the Cardinals are the Cardinals and they suck and we're way better and we're just like a great team and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Like we knocked you guys out of the playoffs that year when one of our guys had one foot in the line. And then
that's right, the Josh McCown touchdown. Yeah, gotta love that. Exactly. I got the Cardinals away from the number 1 pick in Jamarcus Russell, got the number 3 pick in Larry Fitzgerald, so I'll never forget that.
Yeah,
it's fair to say for Kyler's defense that he is going to like one of the best organizations. I think. I mean, on the report cards,
report cards best.
Yeah, they always get good high reports. So it's like, yeah, he is going to a more stable organization with better ownership and better facilities and stuff like that. But it's on him. It's not like he got chances here and it just didn't work out.
What I will
We'll
say
see.
is the spotlight's going to be bright on him over with Minnesota because they're a big market team. So there's no longer going to be like somewhat like I call this like a bubble here in Arizona where like we live with amongst our own community and people who come in, they come in as guests, but they don't really know so much other than Google searching or like watching whatever they can content wise to get their like little notes and whatnot. Whereas like with the Minnesota Vikings, people go watch them. They understand like the coaching staff to make plenty of videos. I expect a lot of videos of Kyler Murray this upcoming season from like the major people. I expect Kurt Warner, JT O'Sullivan, Alex Rollins, Brett Coleman, and I think I
You went on mute, Marco.
Oh, his mic just died.
No.
Yeah, I think one of the areas while he gets back in here we can look at is oh, he's back. There we go. Oh no, he's back, but the mic is still off at least for that.
Yeah.
Charlie, check those. No, the biggest takeaway that I think that looking at some of the offseason grades for Arizona too, when it comes to Kyler, is that was the best free agent quarterback available, was the guy you already had, and you had burned a bridge. I think that's a valid criticism, at least of the Cardinals, that I said in 2024 when the season was done, either you commit to him for 2 years or trade him now because you didn't make the playoffs. And your worst case scenario is you go into 2026 and you got no quarterback stability, like you don't know what you have or anything. And I said that was kind of your worst case scenario. Good news is maybe it means you get a quarterback out of it if they're that bad, but it's really tough. And it sounds like we got Marcos back now.
Yeah.
Okay, good. You can hear me. One of my sound apps came up, so it kind of changed my my thing. But anyways, what I was mentioning, I think Marcus is going to make a video about this because he is definitely interested in this. So let's go ahead and keep him playing and let's see what else he says. It's interesting.
For your offseason moves to be Gardner Minshew and Carson Beck that I went on a lot of rants about just about a month ago with our draft analysis. We are going to continue to talk down on this draft pick and my expectations for him here. Gardner Minshew being a career backup type at this stage, that's a downgrade, and that should not be debatable. And man, as we open up the page here for this quarterback room, Jacoby Brissett might be a loss too. We still don't know as of this recording if he's going to play for the Cardinals this year. And this is especially where I don't want to like repeat information when in the interview with Johnny.
All right, let me just go ahead and back it up so we can go back to that portion.
He does
where he has the QB.
The
Sorry
grades.
about that. I meant to pause it back there.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So you have a C grade for Jacoby Brissett, and he has like I don't know what he means by run game on that top left corner, but 73 pass, just like I mentioned, kind of like a Madden grades and whatnot. Carson Beck, he has like a smaller box, and that's implying that he's I guess the backup and whatnot. C minus. 64 pass, 64 overall. So I guess passing overall are the same type of grade. Overall passing, 27 run game, 19 to 26. I mean, I need to get more clarity about that. I guess he means like if they can run and whatnot. And
It says, look, so the C, it means they're like 19 to 26, and it says if they're designed run game. So like if Jacoby's designed to do a run, he's bottom half. That's what.
And I would argue, at least for some of those, you're talking about then about bootlegs or others. C is probably the right area because they're not going to be an above average athlete. They are average to below average athletes, both him and Carson. But Gardner Minshew actually is probably going to be a little bit more of an athlete, which is funny at least. But also Gardner, as far as from the pocket, shorter quarterback, like there's a couple of other things that go into that as well. But ultimately, it is one of those cases where the people who argue that it's a downgraded quarterback, I think is correct in this aspect because Kyler as a rushing quarterback, we know he doesn't run a whole lot. He probably was one of the biggest criticisms of Kyler was that he needed to run more because he was so effective when he did actually have designed runs. But he's probably going to be at least like an A grade compared to like the bulk of NFL quarterbacks. So it is a downgrade in that regard.
I agree. I mean, no one's going to design a run game around like Jacoby Brissett and whatnot. And I would hedge my bet that Carson Beck, although I don't think he's a great athlete, he would have more of like maybe the desire to want to like scramble and run. Whereas like Jacoby Brissett, you really don't want to see him run. He just it kind of like irks me when he does that.
This year, and this is especially where I don't want to like repeat information when in the interview with Johnny, he does a brilliant job breaking down how this offseason is played out, where they started, and how they got here with Jacoby Brissett, where he's currently holding out. He wants more money from Arizona, who struck out at seemingly every option that they wanted to go with instead of him at quarterback. And only time is going to tell if Jacoby is actually going to play for the Cardinals here this year. I still think it's likely that he is back here, but it's certainly not a guarantee. And that is, of course, one of the bigger wild cards for this team. If the starting quarterback that we're projecting here, that is, it's Jacoby Brissett. He is the definition.
Oh my God, that I forgot about that throw.
Yep.
What is this, like a deep crosser or whatnot? It's like
here that is, it's Jacoby Brissett.
He got a little bit of a spear
scissors route. Yep.
He is the definition of a bridge starter. I have a feeling that long after Jacoby Brissett is done playing football, we will make references to him with other bridge quarterbacks in this kind of cluster of QBs where it's like, okay, if you got to go into a year with Jacoby Brissett as your starter, as you take a look forward at getting a higher end QB in the future.
I hope he shows that Michael Wilson deep slant.
That would be fun.
Jacoby Brissett is the definition, the archetype.
Oh, never mind, he didn't.
Type of a bridge quarterback. And that does land the Cardinals right now ranking 27th in overall quarterback for this series and around the league. But if he doesn't play here, you are definitively dead last. But I'm going to keep a...
Ooh, oh boy, I forgot about that one.
Yep.
Whoa, where's that? Oh, wow, yeah, exactly. Jesus. I don't have the noise yet, so I'm just gonna have to do it here. But y'all know what I mean.
Yeah,
that's okay. What do y'all think about that? I don't think we're the worst, but I mean, I know
we don't have Jacoby.
No, he's talking about.
Like, if we don't have Jacoby Brissett, he kind of it's like if you got to start Gardner Minshew week 1, you don't know if Gardner can get the football to Marv, to Michael, to Trey the same way that Jacoby we at least saw. It takes him 44 pass attempts in a game to do it, but he can at least get the ball in some of these tight window throws to those guys. Without him, that's going to be kind of tough, and that's something where
probably the worst.
Yeah, I think it's one of those cases where I don't know if you're the worst, but the schedule that you've got lined up for sure is going to make you at least one of the worst because the Cardinals are going to be, I believe this year they are the underdogs by a touchdown or more in their first 11 games. You're talking about like 11 straight games or underdogs by touchdown or more. I think the only game that's close is like I think 6.5 underdogs is against the Giants. So like touchdown or more underdogs throughout the entire first 11 games. You're not favored in any of those games. Like that is a brutal schedule. And that's part of why the Cardinals, when you're saying they're the worst, I agree that with Jeremiah Love, with some of their offensive line improvements, with getting Walter Nolan back, they should be better than the last and worst team in the NFL. But their competition that they're playing is going to probably put them really low in the win column overall.
I mean, they are in the NFC West, and they are facing off against. I mean, we got Myles Garrett in our division now, and we have the Seahawks who still retain that defense because Mike McDonald is the head coach and whatnot, and the 49ers seem to just get it together sometime. Although I don't know if they're going to be as good defensively wise. They weren't that good last year, like statistic wise. They just were like playing above what they were supposed to be ranked. But yeah, you're right. This is going to be I don't know about worse, but yeah, I agree. It would be pretty bad.
Relatively optimistic outlook on this, that they work things out with Jacoby, that he's in there by camp and he's going to be their starter. And as long as they want to go with him, I think he's a very solid player. We saw him step in and throw really well in this offense that had no run game. They had no defensive support. And it was a lot of garbage time and just kind of, meaningless production, really. But the tape is still the tape, and you still see Jacoby hitting tight windows, attacking the middle of the field well, running this, the Drew Petzing offense, but it's going to be the similar kind of Shanahan-style offense where he's ran it around the league. In fact, when he was in Cleveland 1 year, I think it was 2022, whatever year that was, maybe 2023, he played like a top 20 quarterback for the course of the season. In a very similar style offense. Like, he can play on time. He's got a very strong arm. He's relatively accurate. I think there's some missed throws in there. He doesn't make a ton of mistakes with the ball. There's times, because he's not the most mobile guy, like, he will force some tighter window throws. He very much wants to beat you from the pocket. And if he sees a slight window of opportunity, he's going to press his luck at times and give wide receivers a chance to make plays. And that was something that Trey McBride and Michael Wilson certainly took advantage of last year. We saw just crazy high contested catch win rate by Michael Wilson that we did.
Yeah, Michael Wilson's contested catch win rate was pretty insane. I'll say that. And I've been watching a lot of the film, going over like Michael Wilson's production and whatnot. This guy's legit.
Yeah. It's why they're putting him into the Puka Nacua role, because he also has roles as an inline blocker. And I know, Dylan, you can touch more on with what we see from Wilson. I do want to just comment one thing that Marcus left out on Jacoby Brissett, which is the number of sacks he took. He took 43 sacks. He only started 14 games. So you're talking about, if he had started all 17 games, he would have led the league in sacks by one. It would have been, I believe, 50, it would have been an extra 3 sacks a game. I think it would have actually been 56 sacks would have been if he taken, doing my math. He would have finished third still in the league in sacks. He would have been, only Geno Smith played in less games and had more sacks that he had taken at 55. Same as Cam Ward. So you're talking about worst offensive lines in the business, Vegas and Tennessee. Cardinals did not have the worst offensive line as far as giving up sacks as far as those teams did. Part of it is they threw the ball so much, but also Jacoby, without the run game, so that's one thing, that's why he took so many sacks. But also, he doesn't have the athleticism to get away. He stood in the pocket. So I think that there's a lot when it comes down to saying that he played decent enough. Maybe you could get a top 20 quarterback play out of him. He didn't have as much being able to get out of those sacks, and he took a lot. And that's, I think, going to limit the Cardinals, because some of the teams, like you look at with teams that have worse offensive lines, but they've got athletic quarterbacks, or a guy like a Matthew Stafford who only took 23 sacks despite being in a pass-heavy offense. That's something I think that really stands out about Jacoby, is that he's kind of a statue back there.
No, I agree. I think the Cardinals fans, or just fans in general, will look at the raw numbers and think he was actually like better than what he really was. Like, I know Marcus said he had a really strong arm. Like he has an above average arm, but his deep ball is not that good. Like he is a statue. Can't really roll him out. You can't really do the play action boots. He likes, like what Petzing was doing a lot, was those straight center drop backs, which is what Sean McVay liked to do with Stafford a lot, which is good. It mixes up the offense. But yeah, Jacoby, and he said he doesn't make bad decisions. I actually kind of disagree. When he gets pressured, or when he feels like, Jacoby's a quarterback that, like, he thinks he's better than he actually is, respectfully to him. Like, he will try making a hero play when he doesn't have to make a hero play. I think it was the Tampa Bay game. He had a really bad interception trying to do something like that, like escape the pocket and roll out, and he just sailed the ball, I'm pretty sure. Or so, I can't remember the play, but there was a pick in that game where he tried doing like a Kyler Murray play, and it was just it didn't work. Let's just put it that way.
We haven't seen Kyler Murray make a play like that either, though. It's been a while since Kyler Murray's made
True,
that
but
type of
Kyler
play.
would have basically tucked the ball and ran. Jacoby actually threw the interception. That was tough, because that was a game that, honestly, the Cardinals should not even have been in that game, and they only lost by 3 points. That interception turned out to be a huge part of the game, because I believe it happened in Tampa Bay territory, unless I'm mistaken. That was one of the areas where the Buccaneers really just kind of held on and were able to kind of run the ball. The Cardinals came back at least late, where there was mostly a 10-20 game, I think, at least for the most part, going into the fourth quarter. But that interception early, it kind of took away a lot of the ability for the Cardinals to be able to actually get ahead in that game, because they came out and they punched Tampa Bay in the mouth. Tampa Bay didn't have the ability to blow them out. But that interception ended up being a really big factor into the game because you took points off of the board. And guess what? At the end of the day, if you kicked that field goal and had that field goal available, you'd have had a tie game going into overtime at the end of the game. And that would have made a huge difference for getting a win.
I'm trying to remember what interception that was, but I think I know which one you're talking about. Close to the end zone, but all right, let's go ahead and continue with this and whatnot because we got quite a bit to go.
To play with Kyler Murray, and there was a lot of debate there. Was Jacoby better than Kyler? That's a whole nother tangent, but an area where Jacoby was certainly better was just giving his receivers a chance in really meaningless football, right? Like, 3rd and 8, I'm gonna put it in the area. Go make a play, Michael Wilson. Go make a play, Trey McBride. Marvin Harrison was part of that as well, as he was battling through injuries. So we saw production from Jacoby Brissett, and he's going to hang on that production to say, you should bring me back. I'm your best option. You should pay me a little bit more. And honestly, I think Jacoby's probably right about that, especially as they kind of looked to replace him and then struck out. Now they're back with him as the assumed starter here. And at that point, it kind of is what it is. Right? We mentioned it. He's the 27th ranked quarterback in the league, a definition of a bridge starter that can bridge you from one season to the next, keep the offense afloat, and survive for a year. Now, things get quite complicated here when we introduce Carson Beck, the 65th pick in this draft, the first pick in the 3rd round out of Miami by way of Georgia. Things get a little bit complicated here. And there's a lot of different directions you could start here with the Carson Beck pick. I'm on the record saying this was an egregious reach that made no sense for the Cardinals for where they are at this point in time. A 24-year-old, unathletic, low upside quarterback prospect that screams career backup. A best case scenario for Carson Beck is he is something like Jacoby Brissett. And some of that is in there where he wants to beat you from the pocket. He will push tight window throws. He will give his receivers chances to make plays. But even coming out of Miami, there's a lot of blind faith that his receivers are going to make plays. He put the ball in harm's way in a lot of tough situations and got away with it for the most part at Miami, whether it was drop picks or receivers bailing him out. But he's not where Jacoby is at this point in time. Like I said, Jacoby, for the most part, is going to keep the ball out of harm's way with some head scratchers in there. If it's Carson Beck right now, I think that rate's probably double. And you're going to get a lot more interceptions from a Carson Beck. And Beck really doesn't have the arm strength of Jacoby Brissett either. That margin for error is even tighter. So can I look at this in more of a vacuum and say, all right, Jacoby may or may not be here. You just want someone that's quote unquote experienced. Beck's a rookie, but he had, 45 plus starts in college, went to the national championship at Miami. You want someone to just get through the year without the entire boat sinking. I understand where you arrive at Carson Beck as the quarterback, the late round quarterback that you want to kind of target here. Does it make any sense to spend the 65th pick in the draft on that guy? No, it's honestly just stupid to do that because you already do have Jacoby Brissett here. Yeah, he wants a little bit more money. Okay, just give him the $10 million or whatever. You get a better quarterback to play for you this year if that's the point. Because, guys, Carson Beck is not going to be the quarterback of the future in Arizona. He is the definition of a career backup type of prospect. If he becomes a starter in the league, I will eat my words. I will apologize. I will say I was dead wrong, but I feel very confident in saying that Carson Beck is just another guy as a backup quarterback that you do not need to draft that high. You also have Gardner Minshew here, by the way, who's another.
All right, before he moves on to Gardner Minshew, what do you guys agree or disagree with his assessment of Carson Beck?
I agree.
Yeah.
I thought Drew Aller would have been the better upside pick, way more talented. Carson Beck's just a guy who, coming out of high school, was a 5-star, really, really highly touted 5-star. I think he was Mr. Florida, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Mr. Florida. Georgia, he was actually okay, especially as a freshman. He was like, this big quarterback with an above average arm, and then it kind of just all that was it. It's like Quinn Ewers at Texas. Like Quinn Ewers, everyone loved Quinn Ewers as a freshman at Texas, and then it was just downhill from there. It was the same thing with Carson Beck. And then combine that with the fact that a lot of Carson Beck's teammates didn't like him at Georgia. He goes to Miami. He tore his UCL his last season at Georgia. He didn't look the same at Miami. This is a guy that with 45 college starts and still is a bad decision maker. Still plays really bad when you put the blitz on him and put pressure on him. I don't know how it's gonna work. We're gonna see him play meaningful regular season games this year at some point, but I don't know. I hope I'm wrong, but there is not a lot of optimism on my side for Carson Beck.
Yeah, the positive Carson Beck is from a team building perspective. You look at the Cardinals and say, who's their quarterback who knows and is able to help with this new Mike LaFleur system in 2027? There is only Carson Beck because Jacoby's not under contract, and you're probably not going to sign him for another contract. If you're going to be drafting a quarterback next year, you're going to need somebody on the roster who's going to know your scheme, because otherwise it's just nobody knows the scheme going in. You don't have a capable backup who's able to start week one in case some injury happens. Like, that's kind of what you're doing, is you're taking a third round pick. Now, the thing that I've compared is this is the highest possible outcome for Beck is someone like Colt McCoy, who also suffered a dramatic career altering shoulder injury when he was at Texas and never was the same with his arm strength. I think that's probably your long-term backup, can come in for you. Maybe he's able to, have enough of, getting the ball to playmakers, just enough athleticism. But really, it's one of those things where, for me, the issue wasn't, are you going to take a quarterback? It was, like you said, do you take a high upside guy who's never actually done anything in Drew Aller, who's got the athleticism, has the arm? Now, I think if you're going to talk about if a quarterback is going to sit back, drop back, throw the ball, who's more likely to get that ball to the quarterback? It's probably going to be Carson Beck over Drew Aller. But it may not be that much of a difference. I think that at the end of the day, this is, like you said, it's a pick where you're talking about it being in the third round. Could you have taken a Kieran Crawford and gotten another pass rusher? Could you have taken a Markel Bell and tried to fix, the issues at your right tackle spot? Could you have, taken that pick, taken a defensive tackle? Could you have even taken a higher upside guy and Drew Aller to be able to pair with these guys? That's where I think the core of it comes down to, is you're spending a high enough pick on the guy where you could have just done what the Jets did. Jets spent a 6th round pick and got another guy who was previously, Clay Klubnik, and people had talked about some other areas. That was the next draft pick that happened. It was another 4th round draft pick that you saw.
That was a 4th, yeah.
Talon Green, could you have taken someone like him in the 6th round? Obviously, teams passed him Garrett Nussmeier because of off-field questions and injury concerns. He fell all the way to the 7th round. This was just a crappy quarterback class, and so there's always a quarterback tax you'll have to pay. We saw that happen with someone who people said, hey, is he a first-round quarterback? No. Is he a second-round quarterback? Maybe high second round. And then Ty Simpson goes 13th overall. You're like, that's kind of the quarterback tax you'll have to pay. I think what his argument would have been is probably the same a lot of Dolphins fans would have made. Why did we go out and pay Malik Willis if we're going to have a top 3 to 4 pick potentially in next year's draft? It just feels like you kind of wasted a pick in that regard. I don't think you wasted it in the Cardinals sense, in terms of you'll probably see action this year. You'll see him as your backup next year. It's just you took a 3rd round pick, and I think you could have probably gotten a better talent with the guys who are available to help you in another position of need versus burning a 3rd round pick when you could have just gone out and probably gotten a 4th or a 5th or whatever you wanted to, and then just rolled it with Carson Beck and Gardner Minshew for a year and not cared about finding a future guy at the position.
To me, it just comes down to more so, I didn't like his answer that he gave after the 4 interception game that he had versus Cincinnati. I believe it was Cincinnati he played against. I'm not 100% sure.
Can't remember.
Or Louisville, I believe. It was Louisville.
I thought it was Louisville, yeah.
Yes. So the answer he gave, it was brutal. There was I believe there was a blitz that was not picked up. There was supposed to be a side adjust by the wide receiver. He had mentioned that when he had thrown the ball that the wide receiver was supposed to side adjust. Now, if that's true, that's fine. But the problem is that you just threw your guy under the bus and you did it publicly. You take him to the locker room, you talk to him, you say, hey, look, we got to put up some attention to detail. We are going to compete for a championship after all. that route, you didn't pick up on the blitz call. Obviously, you saw everybody lining up at the line of scrimmage. You're supposed to line adjust, and if you point that out, you're supposed to know that absolutely you were not paying attention. That costed us another interception. The issue with him saying that is that he threw, technically speaking, he threw 5 interceptions. One of them got called back because of I believe it was a roughing the passer call that like called that back. But the very next play, he goes ahead and he throws another interception, and he has one of those that where he's literally falling away from pressure and he's just throwing it up and it's up for grabs. You cannot do that as an NFL quarterback. That will get you benched. And aside from that, the type of throws he makes when he goes deep are more high arcing throws, and he spends a little bit of time trying to release those type of balls. Now, if he's doing that in the NFL, where the competition, even as defensive tackles, are a lot quicker than they are in the college ranks and whatnot, he's not going to have enough time to be able to release that ball before he throws it. We know that the natural arm talent and strong arm quarterbacks can throw that off of any base and release it with a quick release. Whereas, like, if you're Carson Beck, you're taking a lot of time to give it enough power and using your entire body to release that ball. Sometimes that's the difference between doing what Jacoby Brissett did versus the Seahawks, where he thought he was going to be able to get it out before the blitz came, and he got shellacked, and then they got returned for a touchdown and whatnot. So, yeah,
We need to see if the arm strength can come back, because he definitely lost a lot of zip on his ball at Miami compared to his Georgia tape post UCL surgery.
I don't know if arm strength really does come back when you're a quarterback. Like, we haven't seen Kyler's, like, his deep ball accuracy was never the same after his wrist injury in 2022. Yeah. It's just, he went from being one of the most accurate deep passes in the NFL. Wrist injury happens. He's like 35th on the list for deep passing. It just disappeared, at least with that injury. So I don't know if it's going to come back for Beck. I think if it does, then cool. You probably are getting a second-round quarterback at a third-round price. Like, that's nice. If it doesn't come back, then you're going to be seeing limitations throughout his career, and that's, I think, the concern that Whitman's talking about here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sorry for Blake. I know that you had to get off sometime at around 7:00, but like whenever you want to like tap out, just let us know and whatnot. I'm gonna keep the video going, and you can just go ahead and just let me know. That way we can go ahead and give you, like, obviously a send off. Okay.
Sounds good, sir.
All right.
Very similar type of projection for someone like Carson Beck. I don't get it. I do not get why they took such a valuable draft pick that could have been a starting corner for this team, could have been more D-line or O-line help, more depth at wide receiver, whatever you want to point to on this roster. You could have upgraded with a very valuable pick there. And in my opinion, they lit it on fire for a guy that you may or may not see this season. And I don't think it really freaking matters if you do. It reminds me of like Quinn Ewers playing at the end of the year for Miami last year. Like, that's what Beck is, but they just way overdrafted him. And no, I'm not really giving him much of a chance if we see him this year to shatter those expectations. I think we'd see a very week-to-week guy that, yeah, maybe makes some impressive reads and some good throws for a rookie at times, and occasionally uses his legs to scramble for a first round. I don't think he's the worst quarterback prospect ever, but I think we have a very good idea of what Carson Beck was coming out and what he's going to be in the league. And I don't think the Cardinals have a very good idea of what that is and what they invested in him. So that's my projection for Beck. If they don't work things out with Jacoby Brissett, we might just see a year of Carson Beck. And I think it would be pretty ugly, honestly. Like, I think we would get a lot of interceptions. I think you would see a guy that lacks the traits to really do a whole lot here. And this,
I think the danger of putting him out there this soon is I don't want his confidence to be crushed. So I'm definitely in the camp of letting Beck sit and absorb the NFL speed. Obviously, you have different practice regiments when you go to the NFL. You don't have to worry about going to class in a university and whatnot. You now have like a full. You're in a different area. Obviously, move either your family or whatever. Got to get accustomed to this area. Got to get accustomed to different type of coaching. Got to get accustomed to like watching more film and trying to digest these teams that are a lot faster because you have the best of the best. In the NFL, the crappiest player in the NFL can still drax the hell out of a everyday Joe in real life and whatnot. and even sometimes even be better than like high competition in the NCAA ranks and whatnot. So I don't think it's a smart idea to try to rush him out there. So I do agree that it would be a disaster if they threw him out there right away, but you never know. I could be wrong.
You also, I mean, I think it would be a disaster, but that's not like a hot take. But you also need Marv to develop. You need Trey to develop, or not. I mean, you don't really need Trey to develop. Jeremiah Love to develop. You want to see more from Michael Wilson. You need Jacoby to start because you know he can run the offense, and you need to see development from other players on the field because Carson Beck was starting right away. How would we ever know if Marv ever got a fair shot with any quarterback? Because
Yeah.
You
It's
need
true.
development of players.
And one of the things with Carson Beck, too, you look at what Mike LaFleur has done in the past. He actually coached and called the plays for the week, I believe it was week 18 game against Mike McDonald and the Seahawks defense. They put up 25 points in that defense with 334 passing yards from Jimmy Garoppolo, of all people. This is like 33-year-old Jimmy G after all of the injuries. They were able to use a lot as far as with misdirection, bootlegs, were able to put up that points against what was, that was that top defense that had stifled the Cardinals' offense, and Kyler Murray had held them where they just couldn't go up against it. So if there is one of those people who you want to talk about maybe working miracles, it might be one of those guys in Mike LaFleur that could do something like that potentially with the Carson Beck. And on that positive note, I'm going to probably sign off at least here for now, guys.
All right, guys. I appreciate you joining us, Blake Murphy. I am so proud of the work you are doing over at the Believe Network and whatnot. I believe you had what is it, Chris Strevler, who's trying to get his own podcast started as well. And I mean, I'm just happy for you.
No, it's great. I'm proud of the work you guys are continuing to do with the Redbird reboot. I know we kind of started this whole thing together, so I'm glad you guys are able to kick it up a notch as well. It's been fun to be able to see you guys with the reaction videos.
Absolutely. We will definitely carry the baton. All right, guys. So say goodbye to Blake Murphy 7, and have a good rest of your night.
I'll be watching the rest of the live stream later to catch up on what you guys talk about. So
we won't talk crap about you. We promise.
I know I'll be there at least to make sure that I was scrubbing through to make sure you're keeping it clean. So have a good night, guys.
Subtitles on.
Exactly. Bye.
Bye.
Sweet,
he's gone. All right, let's
now we can
talk. Yeah, we can finally talk crap about him.
Finally talk some real foot. No,
So, as we were saying when it came to our thoughts about Carson Beck starting, of course, I just mentioned it would be like a disaster and whatnot. I know that the majority of the fan base is kind of, or I don't know if I could say the majority, but I know a big swath of the fan base wants the beckoning to come in, and you know what, it would probably be a beckoning. The problem is it would be a beckoning on us because it shows that the worst franchises out there tend to start people way younger when they're not ready, and it's all usually out of desperation. It's usually like, guys, I just want to see the guy out there. Come on, he is. Look at the video he showed of him taking drills and OTAs. Did you see the way he had his form and everything? Oh, did you see how he released that? It's like those are designed to show you. First of all, those are designed to practice. Like, come on now.
Footwork. They're practicing. All that stuff was practicing footwork. You're practicing like rollout footwork and resetting, and that's what he was doing.
Yeah, exactly. And if he does, look, if he gets it wrong, this is what happens. Daniel Hackett brings him over and says, "Hey, all right, Carson, look, I was noticing, look, when you were dropping back and you got off your back foot, like when you released that ball, I want you to limit like your feet coming off the ground. Need you to have your shoulders squared and your feet, your base squared as well. You need to whip your hips before you release the ball to try to generate that power." Then he goes out there and guess what he's going to do? He's going to work on that. So when people are clipping, they say, "Oh, he looks like Joe Burrow out there and whatnot." Footwork. It's like that's what he's practicing, guys. Come on, calm down.
Yeah. No, for sure. And then you got can I call out people by name? Does it matter? Well, he has me blocked, but Walter Mitchell, dude. You think Jacoby Brissett's fucking Kurt Warner? Like this dude, all gas with Jacoby. He has the boys around him. Why can't Jacoby be the future of the Arizona Cardinals? Like there's so the fan base is like, it doesn't make any sense. Carson Beck and Jacoby Brissett are not the future. You guys need to accept that. We need to get Arch Manning, Dante Moore. That should be the focus. Not, is Jacoby the guy or is Carson Beck the guy? Like, this is a year where it'd be awesome if somehow one of them were, but realistically, we got to just temper the expectations. We're going to win like 4 or 5 games and be ready for Arch, because then we can get hyped.
I agree that neither of them are the future, but I am higher on Jacoby Brissett, mostly because I've had to go back and record a bunch of the clips that I have during the season, but also while I'm doing the research, and I am paying attention to how he facilitated the offense. For people to saying that people have made talking about people, the unnamed person that I cannot trash, or else I'll be trashed on Twitter by his hordes of fans. He had mentioned that what was it that he said again? He said something along the lines that, like, oh well, yeah, he unlocked the right receivers and whatnot. And I'm like, did you not see the difference between the production before and after? It was almost instantaneously and immediate, that the jump from the yardage going to the wide receivers from after Kyler Murray to going to Jacoby Brissett was drastically better. That the reason why the narratives were that, like, Drew Petzing couldn't formulate an offense or get any and anything going for the wide receivers was because of the fact that, like, during the Kyler Murray segment of the season, they weren't getting any yards. So afterwards, once they were getting yards, it was almost as if, like, oh well, you know what? Now he's calling the plays to get the wide receivers the ball. I'm like, quit being ridiculous, guys. It's the same offense.
No, yeah. I mean, Drew Petzing's offense is predicated around pretty much using the X receiver as a decoy. Like, it's kind of what it's. You want to get the middle of the field open. You want to get Trey McBride, and you want to get the soft spots in the middle of the field. And Marv was kind of just used as a decoy for a lot of the year, and then he got hurt.
They moved him. They moved him around.
It got better once Kyler went out, for sure. Because Kyler and the X receiver, it's a very limited route tree because of his limitations.
You do want Marvin Harrison Jr. to run those type of routes because of his, like, his body and his build gives you more of that long stride, like, keep him moving type of wide receiver. I'm talking about like a DK Metcalf or a Calvin Johnson build, where, like, if you're gonna throw him into like some shiftiness or have him do every single route on the route tree, they're just not going to be able to do it because of their body, like how it's portioned up, and whether or not they have, like, I've seen Marv slip a few times where he's trying to cut and then he, like, loses footing. And interesting, so I've seen Michael Wilson slip, but, like, most of that is mostly predicated on the fact that they have to like put their basically put their foot down, and on that foot put all their weight, and then try to change direction. Michael Wilson handles it better because he's more like his body and his build, he's lighter, I believe, than Marvin Harrison Jr. It's just a little bit shorter, but his body's more like proportioned better to be able to handle that, where his center of gravity is a little bit lower to his waist. All right.
Well, yeah,
so
we're all right, let's move on.
Yeah, which would probably be the worst game in the league if Carson Beck starts. And then the most valuable thing you got out of him as the 65th pick is maybe you end up with the number 1 pick, and Arch Manning. And if that's really the master plan, I guess I do respect it.
I don't know if Arch is coming here.
I don't think he'd hold out. That's not something you would do.
Yeah.
Do I think the Cardinals are that smart? I don't know. I don't know that I'm ready to give them that credit, because I have a feeling Jacoby's probably going to be starting here for 8 to 12 weeks. And then it's more of a Carson Beck gets thrown in there late in the year, doesn't really show you much. And you're like, wait, why did we draft that guy that high again? That's the most likely outcome for me. But it's fascinating nonetheless. That's really all I have on this quarterback room. That, again, if you have Jacoby Brissett, it's a bridge situation. If it's Carson Beck, like, there's just not a whole lot to watch and get excited about here, in my opinion, if you're a Cardinals fan. At least Jacoby can get these playmakers the ball down the field, has experience running this offense, and has shown to have, high-end games at the NFL level before. And for that reason, I think you do give Jacoby $14 million for the year. Like, sure, why not?
Yeah.
And we don't know what he's actually like asking for. I know that there's somebody. Yeah, I think somebody's gaslighting the entire fan base and saying that he wants like 20 million or whatnot. I don't think he wants that much.
I think he wants like 12, 13.
Yeah, I think he wants somewhere around there. We're not being like Jacoby like apologists here. I really don't think he's asking for that much because I think he knows how the market is. But I will say that if somebody comes in, and I've been with the company for a while, somebody comes in and he's already getting paid more than me, yeah, that's gonna piss me off.
I don't think anyone should be hating on Jacoby for trying to get more money. Like it's a business. He's not going to be in the NFL for 10 more years. Try to get all the money you can. Like,
well, as you know, like there's certain players that it's okay to like spend on, but then like for other players, it's almost hyperbolic. It's almost as if like it's like, yo, like this is embarrassing. Why the hell are we still dealing with this? And it's like with other players, it's like for instance, 40 mil, really for Paris Johnson. Like I'm sorry, but like
I don't think that's true either. I think that's his agent or someone from his camp is pushing that. I don't think he's trying to get 40 mil. He'll get like what Charles Cross got.
He didn't say he wanted 40 mil. He said he needs to play up to that level. So he was literally trying to give an answer. He had an interview with PHNX, and PHNX had asked him, and he was like about the comment. He was like, that I just have to go into believing that I am a 40 mil person. That's the way I look at it. And I'm like, yeah, you're gonna feel like a 40 mil person when you're going up against Myles Garrett twice a year this year and whatnot. Let's see if those comments really do back up, because I do have some indicting film about like how he is not like the franchise left tackle that people are picturing. Is he a franchise left tackle for the Cardinals? Yes. Is he one of the best ones? No, he's not. And I've shown more than
above
enough proof.
Average.
Yeah, he's not even top 10.
Left tackle. Yeah,
he's not even a top 10 in pressure rate. Like, you need to at least make that list.
He's in that like 11 to 15. All right, we could keep going. Sorry.
No, you're good. No worries. Like I said, whenever you speak, I'll go ahead and pause it. Don't worry about it, man, because it's what it is.
Age to running back here, like you already drafted Jeremiah Love with the 3rd pick in the draft. A big part of that is we got to put butts in the seats and be entertaining this year. You've already committed in many ways to that idea. You might as well back that up with more reasonable quarterback play. So we'll see how that all plays out. We could get a week from now and none of that even matters and Jacoby's back. So we'll see how that all plays out. But as we look at the running back room next and look at their offseason changes here, this is one of the most upgraded rooms in the entire league. Massively upgraded at running back for the Cardinals here. The only loss here is Amari DiMercato, who I think heads to the Chiefs. But the additions are awesome, man.
All right. What do you think about that? Because I think – no, sorry. He just said loss. I thought he meant like that was a loss for the team and whatnot.
Oh, no.
Never mind.
No.
And Jeremiah Love with the number 3 pick in the draft. Obvious reasons to get excited about him. They signed Tyler Algier at the top of free agency there. Very good backup running back. One of the best backups, if not the best true backup backs in the league. They bring James Conner back, who missed most of last season with an injury, obviously getting up there in age. But
yeah, Tyler Algier is one of the best backups in the league, that your first string running back becomes an all-pro.
Dude.
You have to account for him coming back. And then even Trey Benson, who missed out on his opportunity when Connor got hurt because Trey Benson got hurt last year. So you basically have a whole new running back room after it was easily one of the worst, if not the worst in the league last year. And now as I rank this group heading into the year, I've already got them roughly top 8 in a cluster of very good running back rooms in the NFL that ranks 8th to 13th. And obviously, like Jeremiah Love being the number 3 pick in the draft, with all of the things we've talked about with him in the draft process, coming pretty fresh off the draft here, like very much a well-documented player here. You're hoping he can become the best running back in the NFL. And it's not crazy to hope that. He's got
You need him to. You don't just have to
Needed.
hope. You need to.
I think, I mean, he had us at 8 to 13. I think that's low. Like, I really do think at the end of the season we'll be talking about James Conner, Jeremiah Love and Tyler Algier as a top 5 running back duo. Like, I think I'm fully bought in on Jeremiah Love. I was when you turn on the tape. This guy, he's gonna play all 3 downs. He's gonna be Jameer Gibbs esque, and Tyler Algier is gonna be his David Montgomery. Where the only reason Jeremiah Love's not touching the football is because you don't want him getting 350 plus touches a year. But he's gonna be, in my opinion, a 1,500 all-purpose guy. Like, he's gonna be amazing. And I hate when people talk about Jeremiah Love, it's like, oh, what about the O line? It's like, y'all don't like, even the O line is probably an average O line. Like, and we'll see how Chase Basantis is, but your only question mark's really at right tackle. Like, that whole left side of the O line is going to be fine if they can stay healthy. With like Samala has injury issues, Paris has injury issues, obviously. So if they can stay healthy, I really do think like Jeremiah Love's going to have a Pro Bowl Rookie of the year. Like, and there's no doubt in my mind about it.
All right, I gotta say hi to one of the best like commenters in the entire in the entire what is it called again? Community. There we go. And Dana, I'm so glad that you made it here. I'm like, I guess I'm having an issue like advertising or trying to show people where the YouTube side is, and I want y'all to jump on the YouTube side because just as you've seen with Dana, I want to see what comments you guys have and what kind of I don't care if it's like something you don't agree with, and we typically don't care. We have thick skins here, unless you're doing it personal and whatnot. Other than that, like I do want to make this a scheme centric like type of podcast. And what kind of better person to comment other than Dana, who really does know ball and knows a lot when it comes to like scheme wise. So let me go ahead and highlight what she says. All 3 can catch as well out of the backfield in the slot. Well, yeah, exactly as she mentioned. That being that apparently Jeremiah Love is supposed to be like somewhat of a slot receiver in a running back skill set and body.
No, he is. He is. I mean, there's a reason. I mean, respect to Jadarian Price, because I feel like he's going to be a really good running back. But there's a reason Jadarian Price never played on 3rd downs. Well, he wasn't good on 3rd downs when he did play, but Jeremiah Love took up every snap. Like, he can play slot. He is going to play slot receiver whenever they whenever they run 12 personnel. You may not see Kendrick Bourne get on the field for a drive. Like, you may see Tyler Algier pass blocking and Jeremiah Love running like crossers or like a Christian McCaffrey route tree or stuff like that. Like, he is a very legit player, and I am he's definitely the most excited player I am to watch this year. He is a five tool athlete playing running back.
I mean, I will say I wanted obviously I wanted Arvell Reese. I wanted a defensive playmaker, but Jeremiah Love is going to be like what I hope, and I hope I'm not speaking too soon, but what I hope is that he's going to be a beast. So with that being said, he is an exciting type of pick. I watched Thinking Football review, not review, but the video on him. He's an exciting player. He's definitely a home run threat.
100%.
Running back in the NFL.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're good.
And it's not crazy to hope that. He's got good size, 6 foot, 214 pounds, but rare athletic, just elusiveness and agility and overall athletic ability and speed for a guy that is full sized. Like, I think a lot of people will point to the 4.37 speed or whatever it was Jeremiah Love ran and some of the breakaway runs at Notre Dame. And that's awesome. Like, that is pretty normal for the best backs in the league. Is like, that's kind of the cherry on top that makes you a true difference maker, a true elite all pro type of talent, is that you can do all of the other stuff. And once you get 20 yards down the field, clear through the second level, oftentimes after making a guy miss, then yeah, you're not going to get caught from behind. You're going to have those grand slam runs that change football games. He has that, but the reality is you only get to see those plays, if you're lucky, 3 to 5 times in a season. It's great that it's in there. That speed really shows up on like outside zone and in the receiving game, where he's able to kind of pull away from guys, break angles. That's more of where this
That right there is impressive. That contact balance and being able
speed
to get
comes
the
into
ball
play. But
and essentially just like spin out of it,
pull away from guys
with his feet off the ground.
outside zone and in the receiving game where he's able to kind of
So he does like a little bit of a hop into that gap, just like basically
shows up on like outside zone and in the
whoops, sorry.
He's extremely impressive. Like,
yeah, look at the size of that gap. I mean, he essentially has to like hop to try to jump over the legs of it. One of his guards that I guess is supposed to pull on this concept and whatnot.
That it's in there. That speed really shows up.
I'm going to pause. I mean, okay, so obviously he's getting off alignment. Okay, so the penetration comes from what I believe is going to be like the one tech or whatnot, or the nose tackle here. No, it's going to be the 2-eye over here.
Yeah.
Shoots. Okay, he makes the guard miss on that. He jumps. I mean that's special right there. That's the reason why you get somebody like a Jeremiah Love on your team, and then he sees the hole, he hits the gap, full screen. Yep, and he's gone.
Yeah, that USC game was very impressive.
I mean,
shiftiness,
think about that.
Vision, the rare elusiveness and ability to make guys miss that he has for more of a full-size back that does have some bit of a power profile to run through arm tackles, to fight for tough yards. He's not super powerful. He's not. I don't think he's going to be up there with the best power runners in the league, but he's got enough paired with the rare athletic ability that he has to say, yeah, this guy could become the best running back in the NFL. Now, a big part of that with any running back is putting the right offensive line in front of him to set the floor of your run game so that you can get to that point. Look at Ashton Ginty last year, dropped into a really bad offensive line and wasn't the best rookie season. I'll say that. Not really to any fault of Ashton Ginty, in my opinion, but we haven't looked at the offensive line yet. There's some fear that this team maybe wasn't ready to draft a running back with the number 3 pick in the draft. We're going to have to see how that all plays out. But the talent itself here to come in as a rookie and get this Cardinals.
Ashton Ginty was more of like a pinball contact balance type of running back. He was like 5'10", I believe.
Like, I hate this debate, but like when people say like who's the better prospect, Jeremiah Love or Ashton Ginty coming out, it's Jeremiah Love. And I'm not even being biased. Like, Ashton Ginty didn't play at Notre Dame. He played at Boise State. He was incredible in college, and he is an incredible running back. Don't get me wrong. But Jeremiah Love can do a lot more in the receiving game than Ashton Ginty could do in the running game. And they pretty much do the same thing in the running game. I think Jeremiah Love's more explosive for sure. And Ashton Genty's an incredible player. But, like, I mean, I'm so high on Jeremiah Love, and I can't wait to see him play. But, yeah. And I think the O-line argument is lazy because I think you can't compare the Raiders O-line to the Cardinals O-line. Like, the Cardinals O-line is night and day from that Raiders O-line that they had last year.
Yeah, I agree.
Not saying a lot.
Yeah, our O-line is definitely like, well, I don't know about this year, but I mean, I would say that like last year we definitely had the better O-line.
Running back room ranking, up towards the top third of the league here coming in speaks to how highly perceived he is as a prospect coming in. And then you have all of this depth. Like, this is the deepest running back room in the league. So much so that I would not be surprised if teams are calling about Trey Benson or maybe even Tyler Algier, who I think would be totally willing to go somewhere else. Having thought that he was going to get more of a, lead share of this backfield when he signed here back in the start of free agency. So we'll keep an eye on him, maybe a trade here, because there's not really a reason to have 4 running backs like this. But they do currently. And Tyler Algier definitely with his durability, being in his prime, with the role he played in Atlanta, how consistent he was as that smashing Thunder complementary back. He is what you see is what you get with this guy. And they got a really good value on him. So I don't have too much to add on Tyler Algier. We definitely know what he is, but he's going to steal some touchdowns. He's going to, if you ever get a lead in Arizona, he's going to be someone that can really churn out tough yardage. He's a great complement to Jeremiah Love in that sense, where I do think Tyler Algier has a little bit more of a power profile. If it's 3rd and 2 and I just need a well-blocked run and a little bit of extra power to fight through for of the chains, I think Tyler Algier can give you that. So he's a really nice backup, as we've seen for years. James Conner, I really hope he's healthy and gets opportunities and reminds us of the old James Conner, because he's been one of my favorite players to watch. I've, in previous years, deep dives, really defended him as one of the underrated players in the NFL. Honestly, he's been a missed tackle forced, contact balance machine. He's an incredible receiving back because he blocks. He's got great hands, super reliable timing as a check down guy who's difficult to get to the ground. And just some of the best vision in the league, rare toughness and strength. Like, there's so much to wax poetic about with James Conner in his prime, but a big injury last year, gets a very cheap reworked deal to come back. And at this point, I probably look at him as more of a 3rd down role, most likely, is how I would see this, where, Jeremiah Love may or may not be in the backfield. He's an okay pass blocker with room to improve. And Tyler Algier can pass block too, but James Conner in that role with really good pass blocking, really good hands and instincts in that sense. I think if he's sticking around here and you want to roll for him, it's probably as a 3rd down kind of Samaje Perine type of back here. And then Trey Benson's hanging out. And I still think Trey Benson has talent and upside. We've just kind of collectively written him off at this point now that Jeremiah Love has been picked here. And honestly, that's fair if he stays here. But there's really no reason not to trade him at this point. He's never going to see the ball here. You could probably still get a 6th round pick for him, which why not? I mean, he, to me, had a disappointing rookie season with some vision questions, but showed some of the upside. And then year 2 happens. I thought Trey Benson looked good last year. James Conner goes down, and within like a week, Trey Benson also goes down for this season. And if I'm looking for a backup running back, I would make a call about Trey Benson. So I'm still intrigued by his height, weight, speed, still young, still has developmental upside to be a guy. Will it happen? I don't know. It feels like there's a lot of interesting backup running backs in the league that don't get moved more often than they maybe should. So we'll see about that. And then, man, talking about anybody after that feels kind of pointless. But Bam Knight has played and has been a very adequate backup type. And Corey Kiner was an interesting kind of contact balance back coming out of college. So they have a very, very deep, if not the deepest running back room in the league. And with the up arrow on Jeremiah Love, have a chance for this to be one of the definitive strengths of this team. It's running back, right? Like, we talk about this as a position that has a hard time really elevating teams. And it's one of the least paid positions in the league for that reason. Jeremiah Love, in fact, as the number 3 overall pick, already has the most guaranteed money of any running back in the league. So it's nice to have a running back room this good, but when this is kind of your definitive strength, or what you're hoping will be your definitive strength, it's just not a great starting point. But it's exciting. And kind of like we've talked about with them taking Jeremiah Love, it should put some butts in the seats, and you're hoping Love's going to be a hell of a lot of fun to watch if you're a Cardinals fan, to at least help you get you through this season. But let's turn the page and talk about the weaponry here, which is another bright spot on this team, to be fair.
Yep, I agree. This is going to be the strongest portion of the assessments and whatnot. It's going to be all the weapons that we obviously, have when it comes to our wide receivers. He already went over the running backs. Obviously, the running backs were pretty highly graded and pretty deep. And now we're going to go into like the wide receivers, which I believe is going to give a positive grade on.
Yeah, I agree.
So much so that they really didn't do much at wide receiver or tight end this offseason. Some minor changes at wide receiver. They say goodbye to, a pair of their rotational guys in Greg Dortch and Zay Jones. They bring in Kendrick Bourne, who had a good start to last year in San Francisco. They draft Reggie Virgil kind of an outside vertical threat in the 5th round. And they bring in Devin Duvernay, who's more of a contribution as a returner for this team, mostly to replace Greg Dortch there. But just saying neutral at wide receiver. You could put Marvin Harrison. I always put guys coming back from injury. He played through the appendicitis, and my cutoff is 50% of games played. I won't put you as an addition. But you could certainly, and I will certainly bring that up to say Marvin getting back healthy is a reason to say this wide receiver room could or should even be looked at as upgraded. But I've got cutoffs there, and maybe I'm stubborn, but that's why he doesn't show up as an addition there. But you certainly can mention it. And then at tight end, one of those guys eligible to be noted as an addition to the team is Tip Raymond, 3rd round pick in 2024. The definition of your modern big bodied tight end that a lot of people do just kind of forget exists here in Arizona, because the second year was such a lost season with, I think it was a foot or an ankle, but fully.
It was a ankle injury. And the notion that it's kind of weird that people thought that Jacoby Brissett was like the reason why he got injured and whatnot. I even have that. Yeah, I even have that play. If I can pull it up here, like really quick, and I don't want to divert too much, obviously, but that one, I wonder if I can find it, because I got, as you know, I got hundreds of like clips and stuff, so it's gonna be.
I remember that. I remember like this is why Kyler can't get hurt. Jacoby's first pass is a fucking hospital pass. That's it, bro. I remember that being on Twitter.
Yeah, but like, did you see what like the Tennessee Titans were doing to the, like, so we're talking about like a under center. Obviously, his first snap is under center. It's gonna be a rollout to his right, and it's gonna be a flood concept, which means you have a flat route, a crossing route, and you have like a kind of like a go, corner route and whatnot by the same side, like the same side is rolling to that wide receiver is going to run that. And the flat route, which is usually the easiest route to like target and whatnot, usually the number one read is Trey McBride, and the outside linebacker that's defending him is like holding on to he's holding on to him and not letting go. And I'm like, of course they don't call that hold. That's ridiculous. Like, no duh. If he's able to let go of that, he hits Trey McBride. So he has to move off of him, and then he goes on to let me see if I can pull it up on my hold on. He goes on and tries to like target Tip Ryman when he has a corner coming down on him. So he throws it in a way so that he kind of has to slide behind him, and he slides, and there goes his knee and whatnot. And that's all she wrote at that point, because then he's out for the rest of the season.
Sorry.
Trip Ryman. Just type in his name. Receiving. Yeah, no Super Bowl. He didn't go to Super Bowl last year. All right, let's see. Tennessee Titans. Nope, that's week 1. It's week 5. All right, let's see if I can pull this up without screwing up the video like I did just now. And hopefully I don't screw it up, because seriously, that was a pain in the ass. All right, so this is the concept right here. Under center, first snap, as the Cardinals are going to go. They went ahead and went under center, even though like at this point when Kyler Murray was out there, they were doing just heavy shotgun sets. You have your receiver. What is this like? This looks like it's. I'm not sure if that's Elijah Higgins right there, or if that's Marvin Harrison.
Marv. Oh no, wait, no, that's not Marv. So yeah, that may be Higgins.
He's lined up like a wide receiver. No, that's.
I think it's Marv. Yeah.
All right. See, just like I mentioned, he's running the go deep. You have I believe this is going to be a deep crosser. No, this is just going to be a deep in. You have Tip Ryman running like the crosser from the opposite side of the formation, and then you have Trey McBride being that he's gonna take on the block at least.
Yeah.
And look at this.
Jesus
Like,
Christ.
look at that. Like,
that's crazy.
he's hanging on to the collar right there. Right there. Throw the flag, ref. Like
So
no, he's not.
Jacoby's first read, it looked like was Trey. He was
That's
he
usually
was looking for it immediately. I mean, it would have been open. So
that's usually what they do. They train you to look for the flat first, and if you want to get greedy, you look downfield.
yeah,
After that, like if you don't like the flat, you're like, oh, let me look at the shallow. If the shallow's not there, or I mean, if you get lucky and you do the corner route, which is the Marv route that we're talking about,
yeah,
sure, you could pull that off. He did it versus the Rams when he got it to Michael Wilson, but on this particular like like on his first pass in the NFL, he's just wanting to get it to Trey McBride and let him do his work. He can't do it when this guy's just literally holding on to him and he takes that route out of commission essentially because he can't target him anymore and they have to keep the play going. So what are you going to do? Well, he's looking
yeah.
at the wide open Tick Bryman, but his eyes weren't there right at the beginning because he's too busy looking at the Trey McBride going to the flat route. So he's kind of throwing it, like you see what I'm saying? Like the defensive back is over here about to like light him up, falls over it when you
Just
see it.
unlucky. I mean, Jacoby obviously wasn't trying to get Tip Ryman hurt, so it was just unlucky.
This is a better, like way better view. Obviously, takes the hand off. Look, he's looking.
You can see his eye.
See, he's just trying to kind of.
Just unlucky. Yeah. I mean, Tip Ryman also, like, you know, he's not a pass catching tight end. Like a lot of guys may like settle down in that soft, like they're no one's near him, so they're just gonna settle down instead of just keep drifting to the sideline. Like that's probably something that Tip could have done, but that's not, you know, really his game.
That's not his
like
game to be able to slide.
Like a Travis Kelce would have just like squared up and started sliding. Like, but yeah, Tip's just
you know. But of course, it's like, hey, he was trying to kill him and whatnot. Well, he had no other route. He was just trying to get himself a completion here. And his guy, look, even Trey McBride even throws his arm up, like like he's trying to tell this guy who's like, where's his eyes at? He should have thrown that flag. Like, come on now. And the first thing he does is he complains. Look at that.
Yeah, that should have been a flag. I don't know what that official was looking at.
It happens more often than like you think. Whenever I look at the film, I'm like, bro, that's a penalty. That's a penalty. I'm thinking about soccer here. Like, bro, that right there is a hold. What are you looking at?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, that was bad.
All right, let me hope to God. Let's hope that this works out the way it's supposed to. Okay, I think I should have the right one right here. All right, you let me know if you could hear me and. I mean, if you can hear it.
There we go.
Back here.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Perfect.
It's going to out of 12.
Oh, wait. Go ahead and Dana. All right. Ball placement was low, and Tip kind of fell to go for the catch. Placing it behind was the right move, but the low pass wasn't. I mean,
it's not. I mean, yeah, Jacoby could have thrown a better ball, but like. The play was kind of ruined from the start because Trey McBride would have been open and he got held. And then Tip's not settling down in like a soft spot of his own. So I don't know. It's a lot to ask for Jacoby to make like a play there. So
yeah, for sure. It was definitely a fluke injury because when he slides to try to see if he can catch that ball, he slides on his what was his knee that got injured at the end of the day? I'm not bringing back.
I can't remember. I thought he broke his ankle. I thought it was an ankle injury. I thought his ankle got caught in the grass, and he kind of like bent on it and put his weight on it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and he's a big boy. He's like 270 pounds. Yeah. So yeah.
13 personnel. It's a solid to even big addition for this team that I'm excited about. And then they also signed Tegan Couturiano there. So I said slightly upgraded at tight end with really the return of Tip Raymond. But like I said, this is
so yeah, it was a ankle. I was thinking about that for a while.
Another relative bright spot on this Cardinals team in terms of weaponry. This is actually my highest ranked position group for the Cardinals. ranking 8th to
And I agree. Like it should
I
be
agree
the
too.
highest ranking group.
I'd probably have them closer
11th.
to the 8th and 11, but yeah, it's
Wait,
it's
oh,
around
right
there for
here.
sure.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see it. I
yeah,
saw
8 to
that right
11.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah, me too. I would definitely because I mean you
I
have.
think it's a top
Yeah,
10 position group for top 10 weapons group for sure. I don't know if that's even debatable.
well, if Jeremiah is what he's advertised, you have two
Yeah,
stud All Pro type players here. You have one of the best like number 3 receivers in the NFL. You have Michael Wilson, who just like I said, I believe he's a proper X receiver that just needed to
he's
have.
not gonna play the X though. He's still gonna just play the Z, and they're gonna. Well, the thing is, like, I think Michael Wilson is an X receiver too, but he has a lot of value playing the Z as well. That's his thing because he's a good blocker, and they're gonna, like we saw with what Puka and Ben Johnson were doing with Puka and Roma Duze, where they were doing those C gap inserts with the wide receivers and stuff like that with Amon Ra as well. Like guys
See
that
that?
really are good at blocking, and it helps out the run game tremendously. It's an extra blocker, so
See,
I
that's what I'm
think
looking forward to. I'm looking for that gap insert, like offense and whatnot.
yeah, for sure. Oh, I can't wait. Even though I don't think we're gonna win a lot of games this year, I can't. I feel like it's gonna be exciting to lose.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not looking forward to the losing, but yeah, in retrospect to like what you're getting in this upcoming draft, like I can understand that. Actually, I have a quick. I'm not sure if people understand what we're talking about when we're talking about gap insert here, but I have a clip here for you guys, and yeah, sorry I keep stopping this, but I mean, I got so much that I got so many clips to add to the nuance for people to understand what the hell we're talking about. Um, and that's what I do. I like to add that. Okay, so here's one example here.
This is Puka, yeah, Puka.
So you have a little bit of motion right there, and look at that. That's
It's
that's
like,
that's
yeah. I
that's
mean,
just
people
basic.
may look at that and be like, "That doesn't even look that crazy." Like this is very new to the NFL. Like that, this is Sean McVay and Ben Johnson pretty much exclusively doing this. I
It's
like it.
definitely. Oh, go
The
ahead.
the one I like was when I forgot who they were playing, but Puka did a speed motion, and it was a perfectly timed snap. He did a speed motion, and they snapped it, and he ran an out route out of the C gap, and he was wide. Like you can't cover that. It's literally impossible. Like they were under center. Stafford did a straight drop back and just threw it to Puka, and he got like I can't even like 20 something yards because he just ran like a speed out of the C gap. It was insane. It's like yeah, like that stuff is crazy. Yeah, it was like
So right,
it was something
right
like
here,
that. Yeah,
right
but it
here's
was
the. This is a fake insert where he looks like he's about to insert into the C gap, I believe,
yeah.
outside of the tackle, and then he just runs the wheel route to the outside. And look at that.
I mean, bro, that's like literally unguardable. Like, what is Jalen Thompson really supposed to do there?
It's
Like,
a setup. Yeah, it's
yeah.
basically this is just a setup. Like you've seen him, when he motions, he's possibly going to insert, and then he just like fakes it, goes to the outside. Of course, nobody pays attention to it. You got 29 over there, Denzel Burke, or apparent MVP at cornerback, just not recognizing that like a guy's running right by him, so he should go pick him up. And yeah, I know
I
Buda
mean,
Baker was there too.
I know it sucks, but like that is like very impressive stuff from Sean McVay. Like that's a lot of setting up, and
It's a lot
yeah,
of
like
setting up, and it's like a kind of like a new evolution to like when
yeah,
these offenses evolve and whatnot. Not to say that this is new. It's just it's like
it is
it's
new.
just
It's maybe not stuff like that, but like the C gap insert stuff and stuff like that. It is relatively pretty new. I feel like it only
that
started
one.
a couple years ago.
Because a lot of these that I'm showing are. Oh, never mind. This is the same thing.
It's the
Okay.
same thing, yeah.
Yeah. Let me go ahead. All right. Let's go back to our regular schedule program here. I know we deviate a lot. I don't care. Like that's what we do.
Yeah, I'm excited to see like Mike LaFleur run more run more gap scheme out of the Sean McVay offense as well because he did more of that in New York when he was calling plays.
Well, you know what? As a matter of fact, I got some clip over. I'm just joking.
And of course, Jeremiah Love is a part of that as well as a pass catcher here, where we can continue to discuss his capabilities. But yeah, I do look at this group as a foundational piece of this team, hopefully, if everything goes right, especially talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. there. And let's
Right. It forces a choice to switch or not between the tight end or wide receiver. If the S and the cornerback aren't in sync, it's a broken play. Yep. Exactly.
That's
Which
what
is
it's
exactly
designed to
why.
do.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Which is which is why Puka was so open. And he was open on the other insert I showed that was like more of a, I think it was like
Little
a
deep cross, like deep post from the
flood, like
slot.
the type of cross is considered like the flood, the intermediate flood concept. Like he was still wide open.
Yeah.
just start there. Obviously, has been a disappointing start to his career. I don't think it's been as bad as you tend to see out there. A lot of people look at him and say this was just a miss by the Cardinals, that he was overhyped and, you know, it wasn't worth it in that draft. And that's kind of where the narrative is at on Marvin Harrison. You got a lot of people kind of selling Marvin Harrison. But even though I say that, I haven't really met anybody that's selling on Marvin Harrison Jr. And Cardinals fans, I absolutely want to hear from you guys in the comments how you.
I'm not selling on my Harrison Jr. What about you,
Hell
Dylan?
no. I feel like
That's
that's like a. I heard someone the other day calling Marvin Harrison Jr. lazy, and I was like, is it him being lazy, or is it the frustrations of playing with a quarterback who can't play on time and can't get you the ball? Is Justin Jefferson lazy because he was doing the exact same thing that Marv was doing? Is Trey McBride lazy because he was doing the exact any wide receiver that has ever played with a quarterback who can't get them the ball or can't get them the ball on time or throw with anticipation, and you don't know when you're getting the ball and you get frustrated. Any wide receiver has struggled with that. That's a mental part of the game. Like even the best, again, Justin Jefferson he admitted it himself. Like he was a prime figure of mental frustrations, even with Kirk Cousins. That like if he can't get the ball, if he's not getting the ball when he's supposed to, and the play's designed to him, and the ball's coming out late, like that's a very frustrating thing to deal with. It's a very confidence blow, and that's not to say Marv doesn't have his own problems because he does, but it's hard to judge, in my opinion, based off the quarterback play.
Yeah, I mean, when these guys they do everything right and they get wide open and the ball's not coming towards them, and it's not just that it happens like once. When it happens constantly, or when they're doing that and they see the quarterback like taking off with the ball, and you're like wide open, like you get the beat on your guy and you're wide open, and you know you can get that big 20-yard gain or that 30-yard gain, which keeps the offense ahead of schedule. And instead, you see your quarterback just either not looking your direction or dropping his eyes and taking off. It kind of throws you off your funk, because then you're like, why am I working so hard to get wide open? Usually he's not going to target me, like, or he might target.
Yeah.
If I get lucky, he'll target me. So
Yeah, exactly.
I understand.
Feel personally about Marvin this year, and how confident are you in his abilities? And I will say, getting Jacoby back, a big reason I would want to do that as the Cardinals is this is such a big year for Marvin Harrison Jr. And he got in his head a little bit last year. I don't want to force him to deal with the Carson Beck experience. I don't. Let's get Jacoby in there for Marv's sake. That's a huge. If I'm
shaking my head because that hit, like that's a concussion he had.
Jacoby trying to come back and get that.
What's up?
Said he held onto the ball still.
Yeah, he held onto the ball that time.
Yeah.
That money, that's what I'm going to the Cardinals to say. Like, dude, that should be the reason you.
Why did I think that was LSU they were playing against?
Oh, right there.
Packers.
I mean, what Marcus is saying right now is what I was saying earlier. Why you actually need Jacoby to play is because it is the developmental of players on the roster, and you probably aren't getting that with Carson Beck.
Yeah, absolutely.
to say, like, dude, that should be the reason you pay me. And that would make a ton of sense for me. Do the Cardinals always make sense with their decisions in that sense? Not really. But anyway, it just hasn't all gotten there with Marv. It, to me, has felt like we've been so close to getting that exciting version of Marvin Harrison, though. And it just feels like you're right on the cusp of still seeing what was the highest graded wide receiver prospect.
I'm sorry, just please excuse me for a little bit. My son needs to have his tablet charged because it's dead. It's only take like 5 seconds. I'll be right back.
Oh, you're good.
All right, guys. Sorry about that. Okay. All right, I'm back. Okay, so what? Okay, let's see. What do you think? Just drift away from the ball, at least partially to timing issues. Not that he doesn't be more aggressive, especially in traffic. I think part of it could be timing issues, especially since like the majority of his career has been more so getting balls on. I do know that there's a couple of crossers that he got in like last his rookie year. He was being used a lot in those mesh routes where he's basically running across the field, and he excelled in a lot of those. There, it's either going to be converted to a slant or it's just going to be a shallow route. And there was times where they were thrown behind him, so a lot of times he'd have to like kind of anticipate that the ball's not going to be thrown at the right spot, and also anticipate that he's going to possibly take a hit, especially if he's going across those. So I think he's in his own head when he when he does that type of when he does that type of route, that's going to be coming to him.
I agree. I'm really excited to see Marv run more of his better routes, like routes over the middle of the field, like he did at Ohio State. Like, I feel like when I see Marv round routes, a lot of the time it's out routes. Like, I don't think he's the best out route runner in the world. Like, he doesn't really he doesn't have the D hop route running where he's like very like like very what's the word, slick with his routes on his out. Like, he loves to round his out routes and kind of like get depth and then kind of come back, like a little mini comeback on his out routes. It's not like really slick like how D Hop would get to the sticks and just boom, and Kyler would get him the ball. Like, Marv liked to get more depth and then come back to it, like stuff like that. So I'm more
Yeah.
excited to see him run his natural route tree, which is, slants and digs and in routes and stuff like that. Like a lot of stuff over the middle of the field, because that's where I think he works best.
Yeah, here's with the hope that like it doesn't like cause him to have concentration drops like it did last year and whatnot.
Yeah.
um, uh, what is it called? Dana, can you do me a favor? If you're able to find the link to this particular YouTube channel, could you please post it in the comments? I'll go ahead and highlight it so that I mean, you were able to find us. Hopefully, these more people can find us. There was a influx of people that just came in, so I'm hoping that they could jump on the comment section. I'd really appreciate that, Dana.
I've ever seen such a no-brainer pick with the 4th pick in the draft where they took him, the son of Marvin Harrison. What he was at Ohio State was a generational wide receiver prospect, in my opinion. And hindsight has led us to get away from remembering him that way. And when you look at his rookie season, for me, there were so many of those almost completions with him where it was red zone fades where the ball's going through his hands or Kyler was just missing them, or like they were in the first year together there in Marv's rookie season. It was like a lot of chemistry balls, whether it was back shoulders or fades or timing throws down the field where it's like, they're right there. They're so close. And then last year happened, man. And there was just a lot going on here, whether it was with Marv or with the quarterbacks. I do think in the first month of the year, that was the first time Marvin like really genuinely struggled and Kyler was out there. And this is where it's all this kind of perfect shitstorm because Kyler got so much hate for the fact that they were able to throw the ball when Jacoby stepped in. And in reality, it's like, number one, they were throwing the ball on a high volume level because when Kyler's legs were taken out of the picture, they had no run game at all, and their top two running backs got hurt. So, yeah, they threw the ball a lot more. And Jacoby is a guy that's just kind of like going to drop back and put the ball on you and give these guys.
Hey, thank you very much, Dana. If you guys want to go ahead and find the YouTube channel so you guys can go ahead and like and subscribe and also comment on here. I really appreciate you guys. As you can see, it's at the bottom / Soul Pancakes.
Sorry.
As a chance. So there was some of that. But the reality is, if you watch the tape from the first month of this season, Kyler was Kyler. Marvin Harrison completely let him down. 3 drops in the first month of the season, just not the reliable number one wide receiver you were hoping he was going to be. And then Kyler ends up getting hurt, which brings in Jacoby Brissett. Marv then starts to play better.
I think that's true about one game. It was a 49ers game. No,
both. I mean, honestly, both games.
Yeah, I was about to say.
The Niners game was bad.
No, but he did have his little redemption in the second half, getting that
he did.
crazy ball over Spoon and whatnot. The 49ers game, I think he was just like, I don't know what was going on in his mind in that game, but like there's no excuse. He had a wide open. Yeah, and he just had to.
And then he had that one. I think it was a free play where he missed. He had it like Kyler threw a pretty good ball and he had a touchdown and he mistimed his jump. And I think it was a free play. I can't remember though.
He wasn't supposed to. Yeah, it was a free play. He wasn't supposed to. It wasn't targeted towards him, but he came in on the screen.
Yeah.
Like when they showed the replay, you could see him flying and he gets both hands on the ball. There's no excuse. Catch that.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yo, he let him down. No, there was definitely some chemistry issues. There was some frustration that I saw, especially on film, where like he is getting annoyed where he is open and he's waiting for the ball. He turns around and the ball's not either not coming towards him or it's being like it's a play that's just going towards like I just got pressure, so I'm gonna take off and get as much yards as I can.
We saw that in that Seattle game on Kyler's first pick where Marv pulls up on the dig route.
Exactly.
And it gets picked off of it, and it's like, yeah, like Kyler doesn't throw me that ball a lot, but at the same time, you can't do that. Like you still have to fight through the mental demons, and I know it's hard, but there's no excuse at the end of the day. And I think he would take responsibility for that as well.
Well, according to like Kurt Warner, he said he was that was like a scramble drill type of play. So in a scramble drill, you immediately plant your foot and then like try to run the opposite direction you're going to because you're trying to get open for your quarterback to, find you if he's keeping his eyes downfield. But like again, Kyler Murray usually sees that open and he takes off. And me too, I would think the same thing. I'm like, well, he stopped because he probably thought he was running. But then again, you're right. Like now, just keep on your route. Who cares if because the real reason is if you keep on your route, your defender follows you with you and it gives the quarterback at least a less defender to have to worry about him. So you're right about that aspect, but I'm not going to like blame him fully because the frustration of like, like my quarterback's taking never mind. He just threw it.
I think I wasn't blaming Mar fully either, but I'm just saying like either way, you got to still just do your job no matter what. And like, it was really unlucky to be honest. Cause Marv's done that a lot where he pulls up and he's like, he's not getting the ball. It was kind of just one of those things where like, it looks really bad if you're just a a casual fan that just, doesn't watch film and just watches, you're like, why the hell is Marv stopping right there?
Yeah, that definitely would piss off a lot of casual fans.
He snaps out of it. He just started making catches that he wasn't making for Kyler. There's not a whole lot on the film to give you a great reason why that was. He just started to play better and honestly was starting to trend back in the right direction, give you reasons to get excited about him. And then he gets appendicitis and he has to miss about a month. And then coming back from that, dude, like that's a pretty serious surgery, having to deal with that pain. Like the season just completely got away from Marvin Harrison Jr. and really turned into a lost year, a lost second season for him. So that's where we're at in his timeline. Like it does feel like we've been close a couple times with Marv, and I still do very much believe in the talent. Now, there's also the idea that, okay, he really bulked up for this second season, and I don't think he looked very explosive. I wonder like what weight he's going to play at, if it might make sense for him to slim down a little bit, to be a little bit more athletic and find that perfect balance within his body, find what the right playing weight for him is. The excuses are really starting to add up though, right? And that's why year 3 is so important for him. You can't get a third year of, well, this happened, that happened, exactly what I'm doing here for the last 5 minutes, right? It's just making excuses for Marvin Harrison Jr. There's no more excuses this year, especially if Jacoby's back. Like, it's freaking go time because the Cardinals need to know if they can count on him as that number one piece. They're going to have to make a contract decision on Michael Wilson. After Michael Wilson, as we talk about, there's really nobody else in the wide receiver room. Now, of course, you have Trey McBride and Jeremiah Love. There's other pieces here. But it's the biggest of seasons for Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm still buying in. I still believe in the prospect. But my goodness, it's got to happen this year, dude. Now, thank God, if you're a Cardinals fan or you're looking at this team, thank God Michael Wilson broke out in the way that he did. And for me, as a draft analyst, thank God that happened because this was one of my guys that's looking like a huge draft win personally.
I didn't know who he was, but I got excited when they drafted him because the professor, as you know him, TCR had did a lot of these clips, did a lot of these videos about like after we drafted a player, quick analysis about him and whatnot. And when I heard the comparison between him and Davante Adams, I was like, oh, look, it's intriguing. Watching his one-on-ones, obviously, one-on-one drills, wide receivers are always going to dominate that, but it just looks so good at the line of scrimmage at the point of attack. So that's what I was like, this guy's a good pick.
I mean, I'll be honest, like I like the Michael Wilson pick, but I thought that second year was not like I thought he had a good rookie year, but I thought his second year was not that good, and I was not that high on him coming into last year. Thank God he proved me wrong. But I mean, I think he showed like I don't think anyone really expected the contested catches that we saw out of him last year. Like I feel like coming out and especially his first year, he was a much more of like a utilized slot guy, and then now he developed into this, primary Z role, and he was playing the X last year when Marv was out, and he was one of the better contested catches wide receivers in the league, like top 5 for sure. I think he had the 4th best contested catch rate last year. Like he was dominant, very dominant, and that is extremely impressive to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Part of the reason why I'm doing the research that I'm doing is because I don't want to have his yardage discounted, because he really did fight hard for those yards, and he really did use great, like hands and his hand skills basically to be able to come down with them.
No, for sure.
For my draft takes that year. So I selfishly really like seeing Michael Wilson break through in the way that he did, being a 1,000-yard receiver. But he's really good, dude. I don't think he's going to ascend to the point where he is someone that you're comfortable with as your best wide receiver. He still is not the fastest guy. He's a little bit more limited as an athlete.
And that's fine. You don't have to have like a speedster be your number one receiver.
No,
I
think the Cardinals are, it's weird to say, but like, especially with Marv, looks like he bulked up again to play this year. I feel like the Cardinals are just kind of giving up on the yak. Like they don't really care about the yak production from Marv or Michael Wilson because a lot of the time when these guys are like, so for example, when Marv is bulking up, the team is approving that he can do this. Like the team can tell you what weight they want you to play at and stuff like that. So they're pretty much saying like we would rather you, instead of playing slimmer and quicker, like what Marcus just said, like Marv wasn't as explosive as he was his rookie year, probably because yeah, he did bulk up and put on more weight. And if he did that again, they really just want him to be that true X where he can come down with those 50-50 balls. And they're like, he's already not a good yak wide receiver. That was his one knock at Ohio State, is that the yak ability wasn't there. And they're like, we're not even going to try to develop this and make him play slimmer. We would rather get the true X and make his contested catch abilities better instead of trying to make that yak ability better. And then you draft Jeremiah Love, who is going to probably be your yak guy.
Yeah, for sure.
It does certainly help that Trey McBride is here as your best overall weapon, and Jeremiah Love is going to get involved in there. But in terms of being a guy that at 215 pounds is very strong, has very quick feet, he can get off the line, he can snap off routes, he wins at the catch point, and he proved last year that he is phenomenal at using that size to attack the football.
Yeah, I just posted that.
To be a trust throw wide receiver and come down with tough catches. He genuinely had one of the best contested catch win seasons in the PFF era of charting contested catch wins, which goes back to like 2015, I think.
That was his bread and butter route right there.
I love those routes.
He got Ahkello Witherspoon twice with that route and should have had 2 touchdowns, but Jacoby fucking overthrew him, I'm pretty sure, on the first one.
Threw him on that first one, and then the second one he got him. Yeah. Yep, I agree. I like when he does that. That he did that his rookie year too, and Josh Dobbs got him on a deep throw where he like did the same exact thing, just kind of had the corner jump on that route that was off coverage, and then he was wide open on the sideline.
And Michael Wilson, 22 of 34 for a 60.
Yeah, and then he spins the ball. Forgot about that.
Oh, yeah, he got the 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, right here.
And Michael Wilson, 22 of 34 for a 60.
Oh, did he get a penalty on that play, or did they not?
Nah, they just lost. Okay. They needed to rush to the.
You can't spin the ball anymore, right? That's a penalty.
Is it?
I think so. I think it is.
Well, maybe he did get a penalty. That's
well,
bad.
I don't know. That one he kind of. I think that's why he didn't do it. That was because I thought they changed it to where that is a penalty, but I can't remember now. And he's like, oh shit. Let me look that up.
For a 65% contested catch win rate, that's rare territory. Can he repeat that? That's going to be.
So you get the double. There goes that play we just mentioned against Ahkello Witherspoon.
That's rare
all right,
territory.
All right,
can he repeat?
It is a penalty if it's directed at an opponent.
Oh,
so,
okay, I see.
So yeah, I guess it's. I don't know. I guess so.
Rare territory.
Yeah, that Ahkello Witherspoon play.
Yeah.
Can he repeat that? That's going to be tough to do.
That was beautiful.
It just is math, right? But even if
he still had his ball on, he still had his hands on that ball that was underthrown, but he didn't come down with it. That was one of his few like contested catches that he did not come down with.
That comes down to 58%,
55%. Great rep versus
someone that pushes
top 3 corner in the league too.
Yeah, I know.
Down to 58%, 55%.
Get off of me. That's Stingley right there too.
Still going to be someone that pushes north of 850 yards.
He's doing it out of everywhere too. He's not just lining up at one spot. That's a true slot rep right there.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the one where he didn't even step out of bounds, I believe.
Wide receiver.
Let me go ahead.
What was Cincinnati's? That had to be a blown coverage. There's no way. I think they were playing like match or something, and 2 people just followed one person.
You did that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
they were playing quarters or something.
You got your little go. You got your inside slot running kind of like a. It's like face.
Yeah, both. Yeah, they were playing quarters.
Yep. That they both sucked in. They both were sucked in by this go route.
Yeah,
like for George.
that was a good route. George stemmed it, so the deep safety took it too.
Hey, look at him. He continues to like not give up on the play over here. Takes out the
Yeah,
corner.
that was
So
a good
like
rep from George and Michael Wilson.
yeah, absolutely. That's team ball right there.
Yeah.
Beyond, getting open in short areas and being a tough ball winner and being pretty solid after the catch because of his size and being a good run blocker. He is, to me, the definition of an awesome number 2 wide receiver. But that's why you want Marv to take that leap and be what you hope he can be and what you spent the number 4 pick on him in the draft, because then Michael Wilson fills in as just one of the best number 2 wide receivers in the league and doesn't have to be the number 1, right? That's just what you're really hoping for here. Now, I do want to talk about Trey McBride next before we come back to the rest of the wide receivers, because he is obviously so important in this pecking order, and he is the pecking order. It starts with Trey McBride. Led the team in targets last year, yards, touchdowns, you name it. This is very possibly the best receiving tight end in the NFL. And honestly, if you're ranking it with any sort of like merit or sure thing, it has to be Trey McBride, because George Kittle coming off the Achilles, Brock Bowers' incredible rookie season. And I don't think you can put Bowers over Trey McBride right now after a bit of a lost second year. Kelsey's not there anymore. Like, it is Trey McBride is the best tight end in the NFL right now at present. We'll see how Kittle can respond from the Achilles injury. But yeah, he's a superstar. They funnel their offense through him, and for good reason. And that's not going to change here with LaFleur coming in. If anything, they're going to center this offense around him even more because of all the 12 and 13 personnel we saw with the Rams. The fact that he can play your true inline position or either of those other 2 spots. He can be the wing player. He can be would that be the H-back or the Z, the true move tight end that Elijah Higgins is going to do a lot of the time. But McBride can do any of those roles and be phenomenal at it. He's got speed. He's got toughness after the catch. He wins, at the catch point. Talk about contested catch win rate. Trey McBride was awesome there as well, where he came down with 58% of his, 36 contested catch targets. Like, between McBride and Wilson, I don't think there was a team that was just winning tough catches more often than the Cardinals last year. But he's everything you want.
That's right. There is what you call the whole shot. No, I don't know if I think last year Jonathan Gannon called it the honey hole shot. I was like,
Honey hole
shot. It's just a whole shot, bro.
Tough catches in Wilson.
And what I'm talking about is
cover
like,
2. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it cover 2? Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And so you have the safety is obviously going to cap this route.
There was a team that was.
So you have that little window right there.
Winning tough catches more often than the Cardinals last year. But he's everything you want in a tight end, as far as being a mismatch problem and honestly someone that this team absolutely can view as their number 1. So with that, it's like, if Marv even just settles in as a more consistent version of the good type of Marvin Harrison that we've seen when he's been on, he's still been a good wide receiver, right? Like, Marv did have 608 yards this year, despite missing a bunch of games and playing through appendicitis. And he had almost 900 yards in his rookie season. It's not like he's been a bust, right? If you just get a more consistent version of him and Michael Wilson and then Trey McBride, that can still be one of the best groups of 3 in the league, because Trey McBride is the number 1. And then enter Jeremiah Love, who you're hoping can be something like a Jahmyr Gibbs, even to an extent, Christian McCaffrey. Like, you're hoping he can really be one of the best receiving running backs in the league as well. And if you're drafting him number 3 in the draft, a good way to return some of that value is to give him 75 targets and really feature him, not just in the screen game, but with Love, they would line him up in the slot at Notre Dame at times. And he flashed legit route running and hands and ability to be more than just someone out of the backfield. But yeah, get him running angle routes, like be a mismatch problem on linebackers. If you can really tap into that, and some teams are better.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's going to be a mismatch on every linebacker not named. I think even like Fred Warner is going to have an issue covering this guy because Fred
Everyone
Warner,
is.
yeah, he's athletic, but like we're talking about like a guy. Like most linebackers are going to do a good enough job, but not like a great job being able to cover like like slot receivers or running backs and everything from the backfield and whatnot, and tight ends, of course. But like they're always going to have the disadvantage because of their weight and where they have to line up on the defense.
Oh yeah, for sure. No linebacker can cover Jeremiah Love 1-on-1. There's not one.
At doing it than others, depending on the play caller. With Trey McBride and Wilson and Harrison, this could be up there with the best groups of weapons in the league if everything goes right. And there's really no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And that's exciting. That is really the focal point of excitement for this Cardinals team right now. So it's kind of, you're hoping that's your big four there. And then you get into the depth. So I Kendrick Bourne as a wide.
Honestly, to be quite honest with you, I'm not really even excited about this part, nor do I really think we should focus on this part when it comes to depth, because we know what our depth is. We know Kendrick Bourne's a good number 3. Like 73. He obviously agrees with the 73. We got everybody else. Okay, we're fine, guys.
We're good.
Over. Because
we've already been around for 2 hours and we're only at an hour.
Yeah, we're barely at an hour. We haven't even touched the defense.
Yeah.
At O-line, you could question if they could have done more here. But they did get better from being one of the worst O-lines in the league last year. They're saying goodbye to a lot of snaps. Evan Brown as an interior piece. Kelvin Beachum, who's been very solid here, but it looked like he kind of ran out of gas last year. Jonah Williams never worked out as a signing. Will Hernandez, just a lot of veterans leaving that did not play well last year. And a lot of additions. They draft Chase Basantis in the second round. They did sign Isaac Seumalo, a little bit older, but to a 3-year, $30 million contract. They bring in Elijah Wilkinson at right tackle from the Falcons last year. And then even some depth pieces, Matt Pryor and Oli Udoh. So it's very much a new look offensive line here in Arizona. 3 new starters, really building around their foundations of Paris Johnson at left tackle and Hjalti Froholt at center there. So it's not the worst offensive line in the league. They actually rank 26th to 27th for me from a run blocking perspective. They're at least top 2/3 in the league, which bodes better for like Jeremiah Love. The pass blocking, I have some more questions there. But there's a foundation to work with here. Certainly some question marks. But maybe this could be a decent offensive line this year, and that's an optimistic outlook. There's definitely a chance, like we saw in Arizona last year, that this group could struggle, but you do have a franchise left tackle in Paris Johnson. That's going to be a great building block for any offensive line, and a young Paris Johnson that's been, honestly, for all the mistakes that this team has made, and yeah, it's easy to just say, well, you could have had Will Anderson, but to be honest, what they did in that draft, trading down for a first-round pick that you didn't think Houston was going to be as good as they were. You get their future one, you move down, and then they come back up to secure Paris Johnson. I just revisited my draft grades from that draft, so it's all very fresh in my mind, which I recommend you guys check out that video of me revisiting the 2023 draft if you haven't seen it yet. But this was honestly a slam dunk for the Cardinals, man. Paris Johnson has gotten better every year. He's already really, really good and has developmental upside still ahead of him. Like, that's not abnormal for a young player like Paris Johnson, who's still only 24 years old at offensive line, to come in as a solid player.
Here's my issue with Paris Johnson. This is what I keep talking about when I'm going over like his film in particular and whatnot. So you have the school of I believe I forgot what his name was. I always forget what his name
The
is. The
QB school?
No, not the QB school. I'm talking about like a with the offensive linemen and whatnot. There's a guy that the ex Eagle right tackle. He runs I think it's called the O line Masterminds, or I'm not 100% sure
I
what
don't
it's
know.
called. But I'm gonna go ahead and not share this real quick, or I mean, stop sharing this one right here. Okay, so I think it's called O-line Masterminds. I always forget his name, but I know his last name is Johnson because that's the last name of possibly 70% of the football players on the NFL.
Yeah.
So let me see if I can find this clip real quick that I just looked over as I was taking in all the reps and not the reps, like charting everything about what not infuriates me, but frustrates me about Paris Johnson. When it comes to Paris at the level that he's at, you would expect for him to play a lot better than what he shows on film when it comes to like some of the snaps. It irritates me that he gives up a lot of so what I'm trying to say is that so the right tackle of the retired right tackle of the Eagles, um he's one of the people that does a lot of give up not yardage, but like give up cushion and trade that for him dropping his anchor later on in the pass rush and then completely locking him down. And I believe that like with the same build from Paris Johnson, he's kind of trying to do the same thing here to be able to lock down all his pass rushers. And of course, you have Micah Parsons who beats everybody, including
hmm
uh, God damn, why do I always forget his name, man? This is kind of annoying me and whatnot. Type in
Let
Eagles
me
right
look it up.
tackle. Yeah, I know somebody should know that. Lane Johnson. There we go. I was
Oh, you're
forgetting.
talking about. Oh, I thought you were. I thought this guy was. Lane Johnson's still playing.
Oh, he's still playing. I thought he retired.
No, he's
Um.
still playing.
All right. So Lane Johnson is a person who allows defenders to come to him. He gives up his chest and he invites them to come in, and then he drops anchor later on and completely locks him down. Doing that, you're gonna give up some cushion in the pass protecting side, but that guarantees that he will shut them down because he's gonna take all their power and then use himself as like a shock absorber, and then afterwards take all that power away once he drops anchor. That would work if you had better mobility from your right tackle and better anticipation on what kind of moves. Paris Johnson is a person who loses on a lot of counters. So a lot of
hmm
times he tends to get beat by setting too much on the outside or sometimes not being aggressive enough to meet the pass rusher um, head on and
If
whatnot.
he has those long arms, he should be using those to his advantage. Then
Yeah, with that
but
reach, he has like 36
36,
inch.
yeah, something crazy. But yeah,
So I mean, it's
if you're
just
getting
like
beat on counters, it's because you're not moving laterally. Like something's wrong there. But like if you have 36-inch arms like he does, he should be really. I mean, he can afford. He is a big left tackle. He can afford to give up that space. But the thing when you give up that space, you do have to be more. There's less room for errors if you're giving up space. You know what I'm
and
saying?
and and like a person he's also kind of compared with and in the same class as him is supposed to be Joe Alt. Joe Alt get like when they line up Joe Alt, he gets isolated quite a bit and he isolates himself because he can take care of whatever threat
Yeah.
he has to his side. And so one thing that he does very well is that like when he gives up, so he has that big I forgot like I always forget my words every single time. It gets me frustrated, but he has that big. So look at how far his alignment is from the Evan Brown over here. He's a wide split. He's lined up in a wide split because
Yeah.
he's going to be isolated with whoever's going to be on his side of the line of scrimmage. And so you have to win as a tackle 100% when you're that wide, because if you're that wide and you lose, You do stuff like this. Essentially, where like when you're one-on-one and you can't drop anchor because you're so wide, you're gonna lose to a counter in the inside move. And that's all you have to do is just go wide, counter
I was
inside.
trying to get to the wide 9. Yeah. Can you run it back one more time?
Right here, watch.
Even wider 9.
Yeah.
The tight end shifted over. Yeah, the problem is run it back one more time.
That's all good.
I like watching plays a lot.
Heck yeah.
That's the problem though. Like Paris shouldn't the number one thing for any O lineman, no matter how big or small you are, is you never let the defender get to your chest, because once they get to your chest, you're beat no matter what, and that's what Paris did right there. I don't know who was that Boye Mafia. I don't know who that was, but he let whoever was in that really wide 9 get to his chest and was able to pretty much use his anchor against him and kind of power through the inside as a counter. Like that's, yeah. I think I'm not trying to. I still think it's crazy that we played him at right tackle for 1 year his rookie year. That made no sense. They should have.
That was a waste. Yeah.
That was stupid.
Absolutely. He's over here in the wide split, and notice how like this is another thing that like is a thing about Paris Johnson. He lines up with a very narrow base. He like look at the distance between his knees and whatnot. Now that could just be preferred for him because like if a tackle has a certain stance, usually they put their elbows on their knees and whatnot right before the snap, and he puts his he has a narrow base with hands on his knees right before he snaps. I believe he's doing that because he's trying to push off of those front knees
Yeah.
to kind of jump, like not jump set, to pass set like more effectively. And whatever, it doesn't matter if it works, it works. That's all that matters when it comes to it. But like with that narrow base, you kind of like when you don't have that wider base, you can shift to handle those counters better. And if you're narrow, you better make sure you win and stop those counters from the inside. And it just doesn't work. And I know this is against Micah Parsons again, but this is the guy he's supposedly. No, this is the same. Sorry, that's the freaking same video. I do that sometimes. I pull a video and I'm like, oh, look at this one. Oh, never mind, it's the same one. But like, there's another. And I know I'm pulling up like this is nitpicking. Yeah, it is nitpicking because this guy wants to get 40 a year and whatnot. Let's see, Paris. Okay, let's look at the Seattle snap and whatnot. So I don't know if you noticed, but once again, he's lined up with the wide wide split again.
Yeah.
So to be isolated, he's just like right here. I mean, he wins at the end of the route, and that's, I mean, the end of the route, the end of the
route.
But he's just getting like moved off to this spot like way too easily for a guy at his
who's that big,
his dominant stature and whatnot. And he's lucky.
I mean, he recovered well though. I mean, I think he was trying to get. Oh no, never mind. I was tripping. I thought 53 was trying to get inside, and no, he was trying to get outside the whole way.
He does hold at the end of it, as you can see. That's where his recovery came from, right there.
Yeah.
Of course, Kyler Murray's ready to scramble. He gets it to this guy, so that's a good play. Actually, I'll give it to him. I'm going to show you just one more, and then we're going to go back to the video because I think there's one that's pretty like. Okay, so another thing that gets me pissed off about like the way that Paris handles like splits, like not splits, blitz, like certain like blitz packages he just does not like pick up. And let me see if I can find it isolated to. Oh wait, no. I'm gonna show you this one real quick, and this is the counter that I'm talking about. Just too easy on that inside counter, and he's just. So that's on the outside, and I mean, good for him for like actually funneling him to the inside, but still, like,
yeah,
he's lucky that the running back was there to absorb like some of that. Like,
maybe he knew he had inside help. I'll give him maybe give him the benefit of the doubt there. Who knows?
yeah, I think. Let's see if I can nail it on this last one. I think this was the one where he like tackles he like literally tackles the. So he sets wide to the outside. He just like takes him
He
out.
does. Yeah, that was bad.
So like if you look at the film of like those
He
tackles that
just
he's competing against, they don't have this.
he
They
struggles
lose.
against guys that inside counter bull rush him pretty much. That's his weakness
And
because he
when
likes to
people
get wide.
and when people were like last year when I was talking about like the worry that I had about him and like him being the franchise left tackle and whatnot. Every time I brought up that like the pressures don't just come from the right side, like everybody's talking about. Yeah, Jonah sucks. He
Jonah was
sucks bad.
bad.
Yes, I will
Will Hernandez
100%.
wasn't good either. They were both.
No, that right side was horrible. When I said it's coming from the left side too, the answer was, "Oh yeah, Evan Brown sucks." I'm like, come on, guys, just face it, dude. He's not a Pro Bowl tackle. This is not Pro Bowl film.
I agree.
This is starter film, above average starter film, but this ain't no like, oh yeah, this is the all pro that we're talking about, like right here.
Yeah,
A franchise player given 40 million. Like, I know he's not gonna get 40 million a year, but I'm being sarcastic here.
I know.
Right? Paris needs to get a hold of the chest plate. Going off of memory, he got in trouble grabbing the shoulders last year. Yeah, because of course, well, some of what he does try to give up as like try to do like the Lane Johnson type, but he does have those wide, big arms. So you're right. He oftentimes does try to get a hold of that, and is susceptible to counters because like these when they set it up to the outside, they either swipe those to the inside because you know it's natural for a edge rusher to swipe if they're making an inside counter move. So that's what he gets susceptible for. And when you have those wide arms, like yeah, they're your advantage, but at the same time, if you have wide arms and they get swiped early in the down, you lose that round and what you lose that snap essentially.
Yeah, I'd like to see Paris maybe just not try getting so wide and actually trust his big ass frame and his big ass arms. Maybe play more aggressive. Like that's what a lot of the undersized linemen like to do. Like Rashawn Slater is a very like he has to be aggressive since he knows he's gonna lose like the long arm battles. So maybe Paris plays a little more aggressive and maybe it works out for him. But yeah, you can't keep getting beat inside. That's like a clear flaw that teams are attacking based off the clips for sure.
And you know he's lining up with the white split, so like when he's wide, when he's like that, that's basically that's the same thing as a cornerback lining in man coverage on a man matching zone call, where like you're in Meg and everybody else is in whatever responsibilities they're in. They could be in mod, they could be in like spot drop zone, but like you're in Meg, so that's your guy. You go everywhere he goes. They're trusting you to do that. Same thing happens here when they wide you out like that. They're trusting that you will hold backside.
Yeah,
And if you don't hold backside, you're going to have a lot of issues with scrambling quarterbacks, not trusting the backside as they should, because you're supposed to be the shutdown guy. You are. And like I posted
100%.
about like the amount of pressures that was given up on each side of the line, it was like both sides were the same. Like one was 13, the other one was like, yeah, I'm looking at the number. This is from PFF. I know I don't have it on screen yet, but like I was trying to see if I can pull that up, and this will be the last thing that I share, and we'll get back to the video. I promise, guys. All right. Oh no, I don't. I'm doing this completely wrong. Let's stop there. Go here. Share screen. Oh, look at that! I got I got my Attack on Titan stuff on. All right, there we go. I don't know if you're able to see that. Are you able to see
Oh,
like
I
my?
remember. I saw you posted this. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have this is Kyler Murray right here. Obviously, you only started 5 games. You have 13 pressures coming from the left tackle. You got 12 pressures coming from the right tackle. You got the tight end too. Who cares about that? Um, Literally 22.8% of the pressures came from the left side of your line. The right guard was just horrible. I mean, it was a bad start to Isaiah Adams' career. We're not going to say it's not, but yeah, like pretty much like 24% of the almost a quarter of the pressures came from the right guard. Even that's bad if you're an interior player, but the left tackle is supposed to be your dude. And then
Yeah.
right here, you got Jacoby Brissett. You got 46 coming from the left tackle, 49 coming from the right tackle, 24%, a quarter of your pressures coming from your left side. And I know Josh Fryer started some games. I acknowledge that. But that number was already like it was already tracking high even before that. And I believe I counted onto the right over here where it says Beach accounted for 48. Against Josh Fryer, 16 pressures started. Okay. So yeah, Paris, accounted for 34 pressures by himself, 46. It's ridiculous.
Not good. And Jacoby was also not good.
No, Jacoby,
Not
no.
good.
Oh no, yeah,
Hey,
you're
I
right.
want to be
40.
respectful, Marcus, but we should. I'd like to wrap it up in like 30 minutes if that's cool, because I got some
Hey,
summer school work to do. So.
oh no, you're good. No worries. Let
I
me.
didn't think it'd take this. We're 2 hours, 30 minutes in. We're just about done with the offense. It sounds about right for us.
Well, no, what I was gonna say is that maybe we should just come back for the defense some other time. So we'll just
Oh, I'm
wrap it up
down. Yeah, we can do that for sure.
because I actually I'm kind of borrowing this room for now. So after, obviously, like I got to give it back at some point. So yeah, we'll just wrap it up with the offense, guys. If you guys want more, we'll do the defense. We'll even invite Blake Murphy to see if he wants to jump on for that next week. But and I do suggest that you guys do jump on for the defensive part as well. It's very interesting, and the
Yeah,
stuff he says is
because
like I agree with the majority of it.
I didn't want to cheat the defense, but like if we were just gonna do this all in one day, then yeah, that I couldn't go for another 2 hours, but I know we probably would at this rate.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, like I said, well, it's better that we go in depth. I'd rather do it this
I
way.
agree.
So
Yeah,
let's just go
we'll
ahead.
definitely come back next week. That's all. That's all good with me.
All right, you guys heard it from here, guys.
Finally reach the point by year 4, year 5, by the time you're up for that extension, to be a kind of all pro or Pro Bowl caliber left tackle. And I think Paris Johnson's someone that the Cardinals are going to lock up for a very long time here after what should be a really good season. He has not been impenetrable. There's been some moments with his anchor where it's like, I just want to see you get a little bit stronger. Again, he's like 24 years old.
Look at the reps that he's winning, though. Like what I just said, like maybe be more aggressive with your hands and get on him first. Like there was like 4 reps in a row where he's winning because he is actually not reacting. He's sizing them up with his hands and getting on their chest first, or like just getting active in the hand battle. I think you're muted, Marcos.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly why like those big getting those long arms are very important to be able to get on the guy early in the down and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
nice
like
too.
he does have beautiful film out there. My argument isn't that he doesn't have beautiful film. My argument is he has too much bad film.
No, I get you for sure.
The average age of these linemen in the draft is like 23 and a half. So like Paris has been doing that in the league for 3 years, still getting better. I'm absolutely a believer in Paris Johnson as a foundational building block, blue chip piece for the Cardinals. So like that's a great starting point. And then I mentioned like they're kind of building around him and Hjalti Froholt at center, who's just emerged as a really reliable, quality starting center. He's not without his imperfections. He has his losses in pass pro. He can fall off some blocks in the run game. But he definitely solidified himself as a reliable piece and an experienced center at this point and a very good wide zone run blocker. So like you've got those 2 pieces figured out. And then you introduce some questions that drag these rankings down a little bit, right? Like, okay, I like the Isaac Seumalo signing at guard. I'm not even so much calling that a question mark. It's just he will turn 33 years old this year. I think you watched him the 2 years prior to 2025, and he was, showing more signs of regression, lost more in pass pro. Rodgers is very pro O lineman in the sense that the ball gets out. He navigates things well. It's going to help a guy like Sayamalu have a big bounce back year at 33 years old. So, like, he's coming off a really good year, earned himself a lot of money at his age. And I think he has a chance to be a pretty damn good player here, at least here in 2026. But again, like, the age has to be noted with him. It's not guaranteed that you just get last year's version of Sayamalu. But I don't want to end his discourse on a negative note. Like, I like the signing. It needed to happen. And you're very happy he's there. And from left tackle to center, you shouldn't have to worry about it if those guys stay healthy. What really does drag this down is right guard and right tackle. At right tackle,
what do you think
we're
about
looking at
the
Elijah
Sayamalu he just
Wilkinson.
said?
I'm kind of a split. I do like the signing for the starter, but like I am kind of like upset that like we don't have our young guys continuously getting reps to get better,
Yeah,
especially since like they were improving towards the end of the year. So you kind of like you saw something, especially like in John Gaines, you saw some good film out of him, and then Adams was more consistent, like getting better towards the end, like he did that the year prior as well. And then like you're just like shelving him again and just saying, no, we're just gonna get this old veteran, which by the way, he's a really good old veteran, so
yeah.
he's
It's not
still an
against
upgrade.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's nothing against
No,
him, but like he's still a really good
I
signing.
think the small. I mean, I like the small sign a lot. I think it's not he's not a 3 year. This isn't a 3 year deal. It's only a 2 year deal because like I don't think the last year has any guaranteed money or anything. So it's a 2 year deal. But I think it's fine. I think it's a good signing, and I think it's like I would have liked it better if we got a quarterback. Like I would have liked it better if we got Ty Simpson. I would have liked it better if we got Malik Willis or something like that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
I think that kind of diminishes the value because, I mean, but on the same token, it definitely helps Jeremiah Love. So I think I think the quarterback is still obviously more valuable, but um, I would have liked the signing a little more if we got the quarterback because now you're probably, I mean, Isaac Samala doesn't even really practice. I'm pretty sure like his body is pretty beat up, so it is if he's when he's healthy, he's a top 10 left guard in football for sure. So that's good, of course, and he's better than Evan Brown. So yeah,
Yeah,
what's wrong on
he's
that?
definitely, yeah, he's an upgrade over Evan Brown for sure. And I will say like, but the problem is that we're getting him when he's gonna start getting like his down years and whatnot
Yeah,
because of his age and whatnot. So it's not like we're getting him when he's coming up. We're getting him when he's like now starting to come
we'll
down.
see though. We'll see. I mean,
Yeah.
some guys on the interior play a long time. I remember Mikey Lapata was 33, 34, 33, still having
True.
really good years. So
Yeah, yeah, you're right. The delay. Oh, so Dana's over here. I believe she's agreeing with you. The delay punch ain't working for
yeah,
him exactly. And if Chase needs more time, we could see an Adams and Gaines again on the right side. Yeah, because he's not the starter yet on the depth chart, but like
he's
because they
gonna
took him in the
start.
second round. Yeah, they're gonna try to push him out there and
I mean,
whatnot.
I'll let Marcus, the guy on the video, explain the right side, and then I'll give my 2 cents
All right.
because he was just getting to
Who
it.
had to start at right tackle for the Falcons last year when Caleb McGarry goes down prior to the season. And Wilkinson was everything you could have prayed he would have been when Caleb McGarry got hurt. And he was fine. He was a very solid backup type of player, but a backup, someone that signed for around $3 million a year here in Arizona for a reason. Like, you're going to find losses on his tape. He's not the tradesiest guy. He can get overwhelmed by power. He can lose to inside counters. Like, he's not the best people mover in the run game. He's been here in Arizona before. He's got guard tackle flexibility. They're signing him to be a tackle. he to me is best off as a swing tackle, which is what he was viewed as in Atlanta. Not someone I want to count on as a right tackle. And I do wonder if they have the phone lines open to see if maybe Taylor Decker could get brought in here, in which case I would really like that, man. If you had more of a proven commodity at tackle compared to Elijah Wilkinson, and you're really just looking at Chase Basantis at right guard as your big question mark, and then Wilkinson becomes a swingman there with guard tackle flexibility, I would actually freaking love that. And it might get the Cardinals closer to like 20th for overall offensive line, which is a pretty damn good step up. Please do that, Arizona. Like, I think that, it just kind of depends on what your goals are, I guess. If you really just want to be tank commanders and go get Arch Manning, maybe don't do that. But if you're trying to build the best, infrastructure for this team this year, that would be the path I'm going. But that's just not where we're at, right? Wilkinson is what he is at right tackle, and he's going to have some bad games. He's going to have some okay games. He might have a couple good games. That's kind of who he is at this stage. And then at right guard, Chase Basantis, I like the draft pick. I do. I thought he was worthy of a second round pick. They take him very early, at the very top of the second round, but I'm never going to fault a team for investing in the offensive line, especially this team that hasn't been doing enough of that as of late. But I will say this on Chase Basantis. He is very young, and it's not like he didn't have his losses against college competition. I thought his tape was very inconsistent. You can see a guy that has everything to like in terms of traits and high-end reps and athletic ability and toughness. There's a lot to like in Chase Basantis. I just do think it's going to take a couple of years. I think he needs to get stronger. He needs to get better at blitz recognition. He needs things with his technique to clean up. He stops his feet at times in pass protection. Look, I like the pick, but I am expecting him to probably have his struggles in his rookie season. So it's really that right side of the line that drags this thing down a little bit from what's otherwise a very solid to good center to left tackle group. And that makes sense why you end up about 26th for offensive line with your starting unit. As far as depth is concerned, you have a lot of names.
All right, we're just going to pause it there because we're not going to go over the depth here. We're just looking over at the starters and whatnot. Even though he is going to go over a little bit of what the Adams and Gaines, it's not going to be anything positive and whatnot. So where's the comment over here? I 100% want to believe that and want to see Adams and Gaines again and whatnot. You just heard him say about Basantis is going to take a couple of years. That would be the better ability to if Basantis is a higher upside guy, to have him sit and then again have him develop and not just throw him out on the wolves and whatnot. Because offensive linemen in the second, third, or fourth round, you can have them sit and develop and whatnot. If you start giving him experience too soon and he starts getting beat, people are just gonna Drax that pick and be like, "God damn it! You need a right tackle, you got a guard instead." What the hell are you guys thinking about it? Whatnot, especially if he's getting outplayed by the guys behind him, which is going to be Adams and Gaines. So I don't know if that's a good move for them to just start him outright. But just like I said, I wasn't saying this because I was saying Dana was wrong. I was saying this because I was yeah, they took a second rounder on him. So you already know they're oh, come on, get him out there.
NFL politics.
Yep, exactly.
I think Marcus is honestly a little bit too harsh on Chase Basantis. I think the pass game definitely has some growing, definitely technique wise. His anchor's not that good. But I think Chase Basantis is going to be I think he's going to be really, really vital for Jeremiah Love and what Mike LaFleur likes to do with the outside zone run game, the wide zone run game, because that's where he excelled in college. That was the best part of his tape, was the inside zone runs where he's getting to the second level and kind of bullying people a little bit. I think that's where he's going to excel and get on the field, and that's why I think he will start. I do agree he definitely has to get stronger, like what Marcus said, but I think he's going to be the best run blocker, and that's what they're going to want to do a lot. I think he's going to be a better run blocker than Adams, and I mean, I'd say Adams was almost unplayable last year in the pass game, especially his rookie year too. I mean, there was really no development there. I think John Gaines actually was pretty solid last year. I liked him, but I think Chase Basantis, along with being a second round pick, is I think he's gonna start, and I think he's gonna do really, really well in the run game, and maybe there'll be some hiccups in the pass game. Hopefully, Hijik could help him out there, but then Elijah Wilkinson is gonna be a disaster. I mean, we're not gonna have a right tackle. We're gonna be. I think Tip Ryman's gonna get on the field a lot, just helping him out. Like anytime we need a third down pass protector, Tyler Algier will be lined up on the right side. So
Sorry, I had my thing. I was looking through some to see if I had any clips, but yeah. So so you do know that right before any type of formation is going to take place, is going to be mostly trying to concentrate on sending chip help to that right side of the formation, which is exactly why I like the fact that Chip Ryman is coming back. That's going to be a positive that will help the offensive line at the very least, being that he's such a great like pass protecting and run blocking tight end and whatnot. He's almost about as he's 60, he's about 50 to 60 pounds away from being an offensive lineman. He definitely does have the size at 6'5", so when it comes to defensive ends and edge rushers to that side of the field, I mean, they almost can feel comfortable him taking those people on so that you can double team the right tackle and the right guard on whatever you got going on the inside. So, yeah. So, all right. Well, we're going to go ahead and go into our final thoughts about the video. And again, we're going to go ahead and shelve the defense for next week.
What's the timestamp?
Timestamp for next.
For defense? For the on the video, I mean, sorry.
Let me check it out real quick.
Do you think he has the trade this year with?
Okay, so this is just the offensive overall. Like we could take a quick look at it. Grades overall, obviously he's got a 26, 21st, and 25 as a C plus, and of course he got the coaching there. All right,
I think that's a little low. I think the O line will be better than Marcus thinks. I think it'll hover around the 17 to like 20 range. I don't think it'll be the 23rd best O line or 25th.
It takes like maybe like one person popping off, and this is a top 15 unit, and like that's when they
were
have
16th last year. Like they were dead average.
They're pretty up there, so it's like it doesn't really take too much. Let me look at the timestamp for the defense so I know going into next week where our starting point's going to be at. I think after this he goes over the defense, he goes over the coaching staff first.
Line and look at their offseason changes.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, exactly. So
like 118 or something. Yeah.
Yep, 116.
116.
Okay, so this is all right, guys. So this is where we're gonna pick up for next week. You guys want to join us? You already know Rat Feather Workshop. Thank you very much for going ahead and posting the where she found us on the YouTube side. Again, we'd like for you guys to like join us on YouTube if possible. We want to have some engagement with you guys because not just about our reaction, we also want to see what you guys think as well, and obviously other things amongst like liking and subscribing to the channel. I am going to get this channel going for future streams and whatnot, and that way you can continue to enjoy like all the content we got coming for you. So go ahead and give us your final thoughts about the video so far, Dylan.
I think Marcus does a great job with every video. I'd recommend you guys to go watch all his videos. I know they're very lengthy, but he does go very in depth, and you heard us agree with a lot of his points. And I think I disagreed a little bit with what he was talking about with the O line, but I think he's done a great job so far, and we'll see what he says about the defense next week.
Yeah, and
the record, because I know he gets into the record prediction. Sorry, so we'll see that too.
No, yeah. So I think out of everybody that I've heard taking some sort of analysis, he does really go really in depth, and of course he has. At the end of this video, he has Johnny Venerable on there, so he reached out to somebody from the community because he wanted to get that in depth from a person from the fan base. Now I don't agree with who he chose, but he chose him. That he just
Yeah.
what my point is, he wasn't trying to just go and look up Google articles or just like watch a quick film so he can go ahead and parrot like whatever's being said. No, he does his research. He watches film. He, like does everything he can, and that means a lot for somebody who's like paying attention to the Cardinals. So aside from Brett Coleman, and Alex Rollins as well, paying attention to the fan base. I mean, to the fan base of the Cardinals community. Marcus does a pretty good job, and like I said, I agree to like 99%, like 95% of what he says, and even with the stuff I disagree with, it's not crazy. Like
Yeah.
not crazy the amount I disagree with them. But yeah, so anyways, all right, Dylan, go ahead and let us know where we can find you, and
Y'all know you
basically,
can find me on Twitter. That's it.
and I did put your socials on the description as well. You guys can
I
go ahead and
appreciate it.
follow him there. Same thing with me, and same thing with Blake Murphy. In the description you'll find the Twitter handles and whatnot, and of course you'll find the YouTube streams here at youtube.com/soul pancakes. Right now I'm working on a whatever. I guess you can call it like I just use like a play and just like, so I'm gonna go ahead and change that so that you guys know. But like you will find the channel on the link below. We're looking forward to seeing you guys join us for next week's stream. We're gonna have more of this more consistently. And yeah, like I mean, this is like I said, you're not gonna get any more nuance than what you're gonna get here.
100%.
All right, guys. I hope you guys have a good night. Take care. Be careful out there. If you drink, order an Uber or take a DoorDash. I mean, not DoorDash. That's a food. Take a Lyft home and whatnot. Be careful out there, guys. And have a good night.
Yeah. See you guys.